It's me, Crafted Colin, back again to let you know tonight. Oh, it's Meng on Meng, Meng on Meng, Meng on Meng. It's our thing. Oh yeah, we're making Lego, we're making action figures, we're doing it all. Meng on Meng, Meng on Meng. Oh yeah, it's my thing. Meng on Meng, Meng on Meng. Woo! Tonight, Known World United, 7 o'clock. Jump on the chat and baby, let's talk. Woo-hoo! You feel it? That's right. Meng on Meng. Do our thing. Oh yeah. Bye-bye.
Aw, it ended sooner than I wanted it to. Our boy is. I don't know what's happening over there, so we're gonna mute that. Oh, there he is. There's our boy. It's 8 a.m. in the morning. Oh, there he is. Look, he's got his little stuff. Hey, guy. He's just a guy.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, guy. How are you?
Hi.
I am real tired.
I'm crazy tired here.
Yeah, I don't know how it is with your medication, but I took meds at whenever we were done, which was like 3 something, and I have not taken morning meds because that would mean I would be in a coma somewhere. But I'm fucked up.
Yeah.
So I was gonna let you get started a little bit, and then I was gonna get coffee from the fridge down here. And the first thing I'm gonna be working on this morning is fitting this cheese Danish in my mouth.
Oh wow! Yum.
What are you working on, Colin?
Today we're doing it. It's
okay. So you found it.
Nice castle.
You found it.
I got it.
Holy shit!
Got it.
It's amazing.
Okay.
That box is like Eternia size.
It's a big one. It's a big boy. It's a
I
big
see a
boy.
lot of Colin. I see a lot of boxes, but that might be the biggest.
Oh, it's a big box, all right.
The big box.
It's a big one.
Were you able to get any sleep, my good friend?
Yeah, a little bit of sleep. I zonked like right out as soon as I went to bed last night. Although, God, what time was it? I woke up at like 5:30. So,
oh fuck that.
But then I did, luckily, somehow got back to sleep for another little bit, and then when my alarm went off at 7, I was able to set it for another half hour and get, I don't know, maybe another 20 something solid more minutes of sleep. But we're here. We're doing it. We're doing this thing.
Right. I feel like I've been punished for being flexible this year.
It happens.
Anyway, it's a good time to be awake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I was gonna go make coffee real quick. And then I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna work on.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law posted this morning my brother's wife, sister-in-law, posted a meme this morning that says, "Don't forget to set your clocks from sunshine and happiness back to misery and despair this weekend."
That's true.
And I just wanted to respond, don't forget to set your clocks back to getting an extra fucking hour of that sweet sea nectar that is sleep.
let's do this thing.
So how long ago did you pick that up?
I got this on my birthday last year, so or this year, I should say. So yeah, back in April, I picked this thing up. And it's just been sitting around eyeing me up. I was trying to get. Ooh, and it comes with 2 booklets.
Damn! It's not one, but 2 of them
2.
booklets.
2
How
of
many
these
booklets?
books.
How many booklets it got? It got 2 of them.
It got 2. It got 2, baby. Oh, that's fun. It's got a little history of like the Lego castle
Oh shit! That's awesome.
in the front. I love that when they do this. Oh, they even got a thing on Nexo Knights. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I liked Nexo Knights.
They were great. They were that was I have a few of them that I haven't opened yet. And I think Nexo Knights was legit awesome. Like
Yeah.
it was almost like a Lego version of kind of Motu a little bit. Like just that cross between like high tech and like high fantasy. It was wonderful.
Plus, I mean, you could make bigger guys that were still as mobile, I guess, as Lego guys get.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of them, like the knockoff version, I believe, that were in one of the. I gave 6 massive, and I mean massive tons of Legos away. And one of them was a lot of mechs, especially as they had mechs.
Yes. Yeah.
They were. It was just. I think it was a concept that I always feel like with Lego, they have like these really interesting conceptual things sometimes, and then they are like, "Well, didn't make $1 billion right off the bat, so I guess we're moving on."
Yeah.
Chima is another one.
Yeah.
And we talk about it all the time. Chima was awesome, but they were like, "Hey, this isn't for us." All right, I need to go get my coffee real quick.
For sure.
From this downstairs garage, from my downstairs garage. You know I live from the basement refrigerator because I haven't had coffee yet, and it's Colin. The situation might be what I would like to call in the business fucking dire. Oh, I'm drinking cold coffee this morning because I was too. I traded hot coffee for an extra 5 minutes of laying flat on my back. Is that a moo cow?
This is a moo cow with beautiful moo cow eyes.
Oh, you could put horns on it.
Oh yeah.
Then it'll have moo cow handles.
And yeah, I see the horns in the bag.
Hell
All
yeah.
right. Okay. Well, you get your coffee, and I'm going to start building.
Don't build. Don't build too much cool shit. I should only be gone for like 5 minutes.
You got it. Bye. All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, one and all. Welcome to this special little Meng on Meng. We're doing it. We're doing it live. So right now, what we're going to be doing, obviously, is I'm building some Lego castle. Let's get this camera here. And it's the Big Lion Knights Giganto Castle. And this thing is a real treat. I'm a big fantasy nerd myself, so I've been looking forward to cracking this guy open and giving it a whirl. And you guys, one and all, are here to join in on the fun. So let's do this. First, we're going to make, I believe, is this little, I guess he's a little farmer of sorts. Oh, look at that. Look at that little guy. Look at that little fellow. Huh? He's just living his best life, doing his thing. Oh, man. Hope everyone's having a good morning so far. I hope you're shaking off the cobwebs. Hope you're having a little brekkie, whatever that may be. If it's just some egg whites and maybe a little salsa on the side or something, or if you're going crazy and having something like a full English, whatever it is, anything in between, getting some coffee, getting some tea, getting some water. Got to get that water. Oh, look at this little guy. Hello. Hello. Welcome to the stream. I'm a little man. So, yeah, just welcome one and all. We'll put him right down here, and he can be our official ambassador for the morning. We'll call this guy, I don't know what. Oh, wait, he's kind of a little bit out of camera. Oh, well, he's there. He's there in our hearts, in our minds. He's watching us. I'm very excited to be building this set. This is, just kind of one of my dream sets, and I was able to get it this year earlier on my birthday. I'm an April boy. Boo, 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 boo. I'm an April boy. Let's get this down a little low. Get low. There's my cool hand, everyone. I hope you can see that. Isn't that fun? All right, building a little haystack right here. Boom, haystacks. Haystacks Calhoun. Now we got a little cow, a little moo cow. Putting that in to fill in the little block where I guess you could ride this little cow if you felt like giving him a ride. You know how that horrible song goes. Save a horse, ride a cowboy. Well, we are saving horses, but we're not going to ride this cowboy. No, we're going to put little horns on him. Little beautiful little moo cow horns. Now he's a little beautiful bull.
You're a little horn, or a little you're my little horned up bull. I don't know. I had something that fuck me. I'm so tired.
It's all good. It's all good.
So I purchased a couple things a while back.
Mm-hmm.
Took them out of their box and forgot to show them to people.
Oh.
Would you like to see them?
I would.
Oh. All right, I will share. The first thing I want to share is the first part of the thing I bought.
What?
Remember this handsome boy?
I love that handsome boy. I'm going to say something controversial. I like him more than Orko.
Oh, depends on which version of Orko we're talking about. But yeah, Gwildor's pretty good.
Gwildor's solid.
Lots of parts for culling, but I'm not going to cull this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I saw someone posted a thing that Maddie Creations soon that's coming out will be like Origins version of Gwildor. If that's true, then I'm taking this Gwildor apart and just robbing this shit. But so there's a 2-pack, and it had been quite pricey for a long time. So it's a Masterverse 2-pack.
Okay.
But I will point out, and next to our boy who is unnamed yet and not finished, Gwildor a little bit bigger than he would normally be.
Yeah.
Not so big that it's.
That's not too bad.
No, it's pretty good. Let's put him against a Turtles of Grayskull figure that is a way big dude.
Whoa, that's a huge leatherhead.
Yeah, and they're on equal footing. But this leatherhead is, I've said this repeatedly, possibly my current favorite figure in any line, any Motu line.
Oh, really?
He's Jar.
Morning, Christy.
He's got all the goodness, articulated jaw, 2 different hats that fit his head. Like he's got like a old Swampy Boy hat, and he's got a helmet. He comes with a very cool like bear trap weapon. His jacket comes off. His tail is His tail is like snap on, and it's a thick boy. It's unarticulated. He's got a lot going for him. I really like this figure, and I hope we see more with that buck, because it's a Snake Man like buck. The other figure in the 2-pack is right here, baby.
Oh my!
It's Orko the White.
Oh, that's pretty. I like that.
I have not got all the way through Revolution yet, but I, for one, I feel like the character that, in my opinion, got the best treatment in the Kevin Smith stuff was Orko.
Yeah.
I feel like they did a lot with Orko, and I'm all for that. Orko felt like he got a massive upgrade in.
Yeah.
So he's also got these little things you can slip over his hands, so he's got little magic effects.
Ooh.
And they're not like slip it off. Actually, they just clip on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check it out here. Oh, I got magic effect for your ass.
Oh, there's fun little blurbs in the booklet here. So I built this little,
Okay.
and it says, "Jan Firkin contains a drink so potent it could turn a beard white."
Oh. So yeah, look at that little spell effect on his hand. Now he's like, I'm casting a spell at your ass.
Boom! Take that spell.
Yeah. And then there were other things that came in the pack, including Gwildor's really cool, like looks from far away like just a cool magic staff with a crystal in it, but you look closer and most of the staff is actually technology wrapped in like a winding wood. I wish it had a paint application, but I'm not gonna look.
Yeah, a
I'm
gift.
not gonna bitch. Yeah. And then we get the movie He-Man sword.
Oh, does that look at that?
This is a really cool looking sword, and
That is.
I have my He-Man, my movie He-Man. I'm fiddling with still. I have a head that I'm not exactly happy with, but I'm not hating on currently either. So,
did you get the movie Skeletor, like the God Skeletor?
I want it, but I've never seen it cheap enough for me to want to buy it because I would have to tear it apart for parts to put it on a Origins book. Here is our alligator friend's weapon.
Whoa!
So you can leave this as a weapon that he can hold, or my favorite part is you can literally just turn it into a fucking bear trap.
That's yes, that's great.
I think it's one of the better, interesting designed weapons that they've done in Motu. But I think, again, Turtles of Grayskull has been it's something else.
Faux show.
A faux show. Faux show. So I said in my Extra Life postings online, and I'd like to repeat it here, and I'll repeat it as long as I have to.
Go for it.
I would be willing, ready in my body, is it ready? I would do some heads for people for donations.
Ooh.
And for a large donation, and I mean large, I will make you a custom Motu figure.
Oh man.
But we'll have to see. It feels like my buy-in things have not been as popular as they've been in the past. Because I only forced 2 people to give me money yesterday during my mount sponsor session. And they did so begrudgingly. They're like, I think I'll take the consequence. All right. I'm going to stuff this cheese Danish in my face, and then we're going to do some stuff.
Oops, I already made a mistake. All right, Colin. Good job.
It's okay, man. It's a happy little Lego accident.
Happy? Yeah. We'll look at it like that. So
how was your day one? Tell me about it.
It was good. It was pretty solid. We had a lot of fun doing Tales from the Loop last night. Corey Feldman showed up. That was pretty fantastic. I'm figuring from now on some kind of celebrity of sorts from the 80s needs to show up. Peter Weller's been my jam for a really long time, for years, in fact. But I feel like we put the Peter Weller saga to bed, much like the Avengers Infinity War stuff. You know, Thanos is out of the picture. Peter Weller's out of the picture. So now...
I don't know. Roland said he'd be happy to come back as Thanos.
I'll take that.
And I don't know. Are you watching Agatha all along?
I've seen a few episodes. I haven't been keeping up with it.
You know who Aubrey Plaza is playing, don't you?
Yeah, I heard, but are they going to tie it to the man? Are they gonna make her Thanos's muse? I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't know if we'll have enough time.
I think for no other reason than to appease hardcore fans, they'll have some type of relationship.
Although, isn't she and Agatha got it going on?
That don't care.
That don't care. I'd be for it. I always thought that was a really interesting thing with Thanos, is that he was always trying to court death.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would be a nice twist on his character. Although, you know what, if they just figured out how to put Aubrey Plaza at large into the MCU too, for more stuff, I'd be happy with that. Got a little cart going here with a little orange on it, some chatties. And let's get this baguette going.
Death also has a relationship with Deadpool in the comic.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Yeah, Deadpool. There's so many ways now that they got, Deadpool in the MCU at large to go with him. I would love to see him hooking up with some vampires, things like that. That's always fun.
I think if they're smart, they will keep those characters' exposure levels very limited.
Yeah.
But drop them in interesting ways until they're ready to give them a movie.
Yeah.
Don't have them show up in every fucking movie. Do some good things maybe especially Wolverine. I'm really worried. I don't know who they're going to have play Wolverine. Although I did read something that they may just go with the actress who plays Laura Kinney and just have her be Wolverine.
I'd be fine with that. She's great.
Yeah. And I'm a big fan of when they did that in the comic and they were just Logan. This was I think at this point when Wolverine was, dead.
Yeah.
They had her just be Wolverine. And I really like that.
I did too.
I like when Marvel's not afraid to do legacy shit.
Yes, yeah. DC is so good at doing that, and I wish Marvel weren't so we don't know.
I think Marvel makes it. They think in their mind. This is my guess. They think it makes them feel old.
Maybe, but I don't know. It just kind of speaks to the rich history of things. I love that there's there's Adam 1 and there's Adam 2 and all that stuff. And these, you can just, there's a lineage going back and back and back. And you can.
That your World War II style heroes actually created a legacy for themselves. That we did have the Golden Age Adam with the Silver Age Adam. Then if you want to move on from there, you have, Nucleon is Al Pratt's I can't remember how they're related. Then the Nucleon becomes Atom Smasher.
Yes.
And then we get Damage as well, who's involved with that. But then we had the New 52 Damage, who was not, when DC decided they were going to really fuck with their continuity.
Yeah. Although there's some things from New 52 that I really did enjoy. I liked what they tried to do with Batman, and we got some really solid Batman stories out of there.
Batman is a little bit of a weird case because I was reading about it, and that's when Morrison was still on the book, and they were like, "Hey, we're not going to touch your book."
Oh.
It's just the only way it's gonna affect your character is when it comes to like crossover with their other characters.
Uh-huh.
Like basically, we're not touching what we're working on. We're just gonna if he appears in someone else's book, we'll do that because this I believe New 52 wasn't that around the time when Dick Grayson was Batman.
I believe that was pretty close to that. Although by the time
I can't remember because
they
I
got
can't
into
remember what got us to New 52. If it was Final Crisis or what, I can't recall.
I think so.
DC for a while was just like
We got to reset.
yeah, they were resetting constantly.
Yeah.
Like Marvel does that, but they do it more as a continuous like almost like a season.
Yeah.
DC, I don't think really understands that really well. Although, you know, now we're getting All In, and from everything I've watched of people whose opinions I trust, All In's been fucking amazing. And the absolute Batman, absolute Wonder Woman are apparently like, you must get these books. They're really good.
Oh.
All right. I am going to, I think we're going to take this turtle's body and we're going to get it ready to hopefully somewhat match the color of this head. Although I'm realizing like I might have to go in and clean up the head. I like how the head turned out, but I think for Motu it's far too muddly.
Okay.
I guess I like it, but I also like one thing that I love about the Motu designs, but sometimes when I'm trying to be better as a painter, that it drives me nuts, is how clean they are in color.
Yeah.
Like, they're very 4-color. Like it's 4-color superhero shit, which I do enjoy, but I'm trying to be better at, you know, blending paints and shit and not be so flat. And Motu is definitely not, you know, it's like a one-step paint application, and I'm trying to figure out how to do better at multi-step paint application. But that being said, I'm going to, I think, paint this black.
Okay.
And then I'm going to, well, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do that, because I want to be able to lighten it up. And as you and I both know, yellow is not a happy color for painting.
That's true. But I've also heard that yellow is the color of my true love's hair in the morning.
Oh, God damn it, you're right.
In the morning.
So I'm thinking of this chest boy being red. No, yellow. And then the body being red. Let me see. I had a picture of the character I was using as my model for this, because there's an actual it was from a Motu knockoff line.
Oh.
Let me grab it really quick and I can share it with y'all.
Share it up. Ooh, ooh.
Share it so good, girl.
Share it up.
Emoji bios. Yep, it is. Okay, let me find it real fast. There it is. First thing I clicked on.
Nice. Oh God, the brain fog is real this month.
Yeah, it's real bad, huh?
Yeah.
I'm gonna share my screen.
Where is it? Where is it? Oh, that's what I mean. Oh, I knew that. I knew I was using that piece. So it won't be a perfect translation,
but I feel like I can get a good one. Maybe we'll go dark in the chest area there. Then they're trying to go, and there's that OG Toys head.
Okay, yeah, alrighty.
I really like this fucking. He's a bit more of a squat boy, but since we're using the parts that we done have, this is going to be how it is. I think I will go then red and then yellow. So maybe we'll whiten this green up, since that should take a yellow better then. And we will like try to go more 4-color, I think, than I did with the head. So I gotta get some water for my little paint pot boy.
Yeah.
So talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. Why are we up so early?
Because last night we were watching what's known as a Nashi joint, a Paul Nashi joint, if you will.
Tubi turned on us last night.
Tubi was getting insane with those ads.
It was
Come on, Tubi, cut it out.
Tubi was like a harsh mistress. It was like watching shit on YouTube. It was so bad.
It was, but you know what? The thing is, I could get a subscription on YouTube that takes out all the commercials for $13 a month. Tubi, I would pay to not have to watch commercials constantly. And here's another thing that got me really, I'm going to go, not to go on a bit of a rant here.
Here's something that really grinds my gears.
Now this really grinds my gears. The other day I was watching, I had the kids with me for the weekend, and we were watching the old school Beetlejuice cartoon. No ads came up for over 3 hours of watching that. Like just hanging out in the morning, building Lego with the kids. No ads. No ads, Tubi. Why come? Why come no ads?
My guess is they are a lot like, so when I watch certain YouTube channels, it's like I actually checked it. It's like an ad every, like a minimum every 3 minutes. And then when I watch others, I will get through an entire video, no ads. So I think it's a revenue, like if they're like, okay, this is I think if you hit a certain plateau of viewership, that they add it up, so to speak.
Add it up.
But that's just a guess on my part.
Yeah, but that was a really pleasant surprise the other day, and then they did us real dirty last night.
They really did. It was disappointing.
It was getting very frustrating.
Also, I don't think it helps that there's 4 of us trying to watch at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's like the ads aren't synced up at all. But last night was the worst we've ever had it for.
Yeah. That was just an insane time. A wild time to be alive.
That was wild, baby. All right, I'm right back. I'm gonna grab this water.
Okay. But yeah, we were watching, I believe it was called Revenge of the Mummy, or it might have been The Mummy's Revenge, starring Your Short King and My Short King.
The Mummy's Revenge.
Paul Nashi, aka the man who should have been Wolverine if he had been born maybe 30 to 40 years later. But just a beautiful man, a beautiful specimen of a man. A beautiful body, if you will, and just eyes that are just, they pierce into your soul, and you just want to get lost in them for days. But yeah, so we're watching Revenge of the Mummy. A Paul Nashi joint is always a good time, and you can bet your bottom dollar, and your sweet Bippy that it was entertaining. It was very entertaining, and I was really enjoying it. But yeah, we were getting just inundated with ads left and right, to the point that like it just ground the stream a little bit to a halt, because it was hitting us up all at odd times, and like legit set us back like an hour from where we should have been, if we had been like all synced up with like ads hitting us at the right time and whatnot, but that wasn't the case. It wasn't meant to be. So yeah,
Were you enjoying the movie, by the way?
I was enjoying the movie. I was having a real good time, especially just watching it with you guys. I think we were on fire with our riffs, and it was a real shame that
We're just being a bunch of jokesters.
we're just being jokesters, baby.
Yeah,
But
baby.
it was, yeah, man. I was super enjoying myself. But also, like, around the 45-minute mark of us watching, not necessarily of just the movie itself, I was getting into Head Bob City,
Yeah.
which was a real shame.
Yeah, I struggled yesterday basically from start to finish of the day.
Mhm.
As the day went on, I noticed it just was getting worse. And by the time we got to Time to Nash, I was like, oh my God, this is bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, but yeah, I would love to go back and, like, I don't know, jump in at some point onto that and give it a finish, a proper finish. If
I don't think I ever would have noticed. I think Spike is the one that called it out. How there is a tendency in the Nashiverse for Paul to play two characters.
there really is, yeah, it's a thing. It's a definite trope of the
Do
Nashi.
you think that was because he was so over at the time, or do you think it's because like only Paul could trust Paul?
I don't know.
He was like a bad booker, and he wanted to make sure his champ didn't fucking take off on him, so he constantly made himself the champ.
It gave himself a little bit of a Dusty Rhodes booking, if you
Okay,
will.
so I want to point out how that is a falsehood. The only time Dusty held the NWA World Championship twice. You know how long Dusty held the NWA World Championship? Total, less than 90 days in both reigns.
But it's not the length of the championship. It's the
It's
chase.
the girth.
And Dusty,
It's not the length of
ugh.
Dusty's NWA reigns. It's the girth.
Also,
No, I mean
he had to
right,
put
baby.
his legacy, his seed in the picture, if you will.
Well, I think some of that though is he should have held the NWA World Championship a few times before that.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
like I remember watching Harley Race talk about how Dusty fucked up by waiting too long.
Oh.
To basically go to the NWA and be like, I'm a huge draw. I should be champ. Like, also that Dusty was a guy who didn't need the belt.
No.
So he could travel around like the NWA champion and do the same shit without having the gold around his waist. So then he could lose matches. Although, as Harley pointed out, that doesn't mean Dusty would lose matches.
Oh, yeah. No. Not at all. Not at all. Like,
He's
there's
Dusty Road, baby.
some people, it's the chase for the championship that is better than actually them holding the championship. And I think Dusty was definitely one of those.
Well, I think some of it, though, too, is like Dusty never held that belt long enough for us to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair.
Now, we did get more than one Dusty finish in his chases.
Oh,
He would
did we
win the belt, but not win the belt? That's right, baby. I mastered that. Entire version of storytelling comes from the American dream. Dream, why your story so compelling? Well, let me tell you something, Daddy. It's when you dangle the carrot and then pull it away. Then the common man completely understands the plot of the one and only American dream. Son of a plumber.
Son of a plumber, baby.
So yeah, I always get irritated when I'll hear people talk about how he booked himself into the title because he never really did that. Now, the thing he did do is he would book himself into big angles.
What?
But again, some of that is Dusty always understood, and I think he was right.
The people want to see me, baby.
Yeah, is that he drew money.
Oh, yeah. No, he was a draw. He was an absolute beast of a draw, for sure. You cannot say he wasn't. that'd just be foolish.
And I was listening to a thing. I think it's what it was. I can't remember if I was listening to it or watching it, where they were talking about that was one of the biggest points of contention that Flair ended up having with Dusty, and why they kind of had that period of time where they were very, very competitive with one another outside the ring, was because Dusty basically was like, yeah, go ahead and you have your, so many reigns as world champion. Dusty don't need that, baby. He gets over without it.
Yeah.
The belt don't make the man, baby. The man makes the belt. And Ric Flair apparently took a lot of offense to that.
What? Ric Flair thin-skinned? You kidding me?
Well, I think, they'd known each other basically Rick's entire come up. I don't know if you knew that
when Rick
story
was chunky.
where he wanted to be Ramblin' Ricky Rhodes.
Yeah, that's right. That's totally, yeah. That's when you learn that is just mind-blowing.
I think what you learn is that's why they worked so well together.
Yeah.
Is because, I think it was at a time period where Rick wasn't so full of his own shit.
Well, he was a young pup, a young boy. He didn't really know, what his thing was yet. I was just going to say he hadn't found his thing, but then again, he kind of took his whole fucking thing from the original Nature Boy. You know what I'm saying?
I think some of it. I think he definitely brings.
Well, the strut at least in the name, in the whatever. But I mean, I don't know. It's so hard to talk about Rick for me because it's just like the wrestler is amazing. Ric Flair, the wrestler, is just incredible. Ric Flair, the human being, is a major piece of shit.
So you do not subscribe at all to Bret Hart? Never heard of her. His thing about Ric Flair, that if you've seen one Ric Flair match, you've seen all of them.
You know what? I do, but also there's such a the way Rick did it, even though it was this is this spot and this is what he's going to do. The way he did it though was very. It was still captivating because I think he knew how to unlike the Young Bucks, he wasn't going 100 miles an hour from the get out. He could build a match still, even though it was the same match. I don't know. Those old schoolers, man, they had a way of just letting something breathe a little bit more and putting a little more of that, that drama, that theatricality into it that could still hold your attention a little better. But I mean, yeah, Rick really didn't know how to work anything that wasn't a Rick match. I will say that kind of.
Well, do you think that also boils down to, most of the time the heels call the match in the ring? So most of the time Rick was calling the match and he just was like, well, I know this is what gets him going. So we're just going to do, what we're literally going to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
So let's do what I do best. And then, in all honesty, it's hard to argue when you're doing this match that is at the time the high point in a lot of people's mind of what wrestling could be.
Yeah.
He and Steamboat are tearing it up, all over the fucking Carolinas, or he's been entrusted with the NWA title repetitively, because if you look to his first reign is not good. It's relatively short, and I think it was a thing where they, it was another time where they were like, well, we got to figure out who's going to replace Harley.
Yeah,
and Harley was like, Harley Race was like, that's fine, do that, please, so I can stop,
destroying my body.
Yeah, working myself into fucking an early grave, which did not happen because Harley Race was made of sterner stuff than that, and he was the best thing on God's green earth, walking the world today.
God, yeah, that guy lived for a real long time.
Yeah,
Took his shoe leather.
considering he survived polio.
Yeah,
Considering how many times he wrecked cars and boats
cars.
and everything else and
Yeah.
walked away, it's pretty crazy. I like my drinks cold, my smokes hot, and my cars fast.
Sure did.
Well, did you ever hear why he was such a speed demon?
Because of wasn't that really horrible accident that he lost his wife in?
Well, before that, when he was young, I can't recall if this turns out to be accurate or not. He like as a teenager, he was running bootleg.
Oh,
He was driving backwoods. He was doing bootleg
making his way
across the
anyway.
great state of Missouri.
That's just a little bit more than Harley allow. He's a good old boy. You
Never
know his mama love him.
Doing no harm.
I once was pulled over by a police officer while I was driving and making love to a dwarf.
Yeah, that's a real story.
And
I may or may not have been completely intoxicated.
And when the cop asked me what I was doing, I might have said, fucking.
Yeah. I am fornicating with this little person.
Don't worry, she's loving it.
Yeah, she's of legal age. Oh, God. Harley Race, though, like, I will also say, like, I was watching a thing where someone was pointing out, they're like, I feel like Harley Race people sleep on the fact that, first of all, Harley's the first American to do a table spot.
Oh, what? Really?
Yeah. Second of all, they're like, Harley like gave so much to everybody. He was like one of the most like unselfish guys in the ring.
I've heard that.
He would sell his ass off like to a ridiculous degree. Where older generation wrestlers would, when he was young, would sell, especially when they found out he was like in line to be the man, were like, you give these people too much. Like, you need.
Oh, really?
If you're the champ, you need to put your foot down on these guys. And he was always like, why would I do that? There's no money in a squash match. Which I will say, it's one of the lessons Rick learned from Harley that he learned is you give. Because I will say one thing, Ric Flair,
got to give what you get.
Yeah, Ric Flair is a walking garbage pile. But he will. I can't think of a time when I watched Ric Flair have an actual squash match. Even back in the days of the Superstation, where the 605 1 hour show, where he would wrestle a jobber, the jobber would get offense in.
Yeah,
like that shit would not have flied in New York with Vincent Sr. I do not speak highly of Junior.
No one should.
Which apparently I did not realize that Vince did not like to be called Junior.
Oh yeah, no. I've heard that.
That was they talked about that a bunch on Behind the Bastards.
Yeah, I think, and there was like people who would call him that, and they would immediately make his shit list.
Yeah, but they would do that. They were usually people who had done so much business with his dad that he could not do much about it at the time.
Yeah.
Because old Vinnie Mac was a daddy boy.
My dad, he never loved me.
He never showed emotion because of the Irish in him.
It wasn't until he was on his deathbed that
he said, "I love you, son."
We had this hallmark moment. And even though his family at the time, with the woman he remarried, said he was one of the warmest people and was full of life and love, he decided to never show that with me.
I will also say, man, the way that Vince Sr.'s second family are his, the family who talks about him, he sounds like such a fucking good guy.
Yeah, I think Well, I think Vinnie Mac's just, trying to hype up a poor me story with that. I really do. With the whole
I think Vinnie Mac has daddy issues because
big time.
his adoptive not adoptive. I can't.
His adopted father was or the guy who raised him sounds like a legitimate nightmare, and he suffered serious abuse at this guy's hands. I can't discount that for sure.
Yeah, and I think also, Vince idolized Vince Senior.
Oh yeah,
but I think he took all the wrong lessons from that.
Well, also, like, just completely betrayed his father's wishes on how to go forward with the business and stuff. Like, I think there's definitely some idolization, but also like "fuck you, dad" kind of energy.
I don't think it's "fuck you, dad." I think it was literally Vince wanting to prove, like, I can take whatever you did, Dad, and I can make it better.
Yeah.
Because Vince is a very much like any other nepo baby. Daddy gave me millions of dollars, even though I will give Vince credit. Vince Senior did make him pay for shit,
Yep.
But if you look at all this stuff, especially like we've talked about before, we'll talk about probably again at some point. You listen to those Behind the Bastards episodes, Vince and Linda were some scammy folks.
Oh,
God,
they got
a hold of the WWF.
Yeah. So, like in that latest Netflix documentary, they're literally like, yeah, we kind of were like robbing Peter to pay Paul when it came to how we got like these millions to eventually purchase out the WWF.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot going on there for Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
McMahon.
But I do also think that I actually am really happy that the Ring Boy scandal has now come back up.
Yes, that got buried so hard. I remember arguing with so many people about that, like, no, these people are just lying, and it's like, no, don't think so.
Yeah, why would I lie about something that literally just blackballs me from the thing I want to do for the rest of my life?
Yeah, or especially what's her is it Rita?
The female referee.
Yes. That got buried for a good long while. I'm glad that came back.
Well, I mean, it also though put some context on Andre's last run in the E. That because he was friends with her, like they were legitimate friends, and apparently, he went to Vince and voiced his vociferous displeasure at whether it was true or not that to put a woman in that position was not okay with Andre. And
good guy, Andre.
That's why a lot of people guess that even at the end of his career, when Vince had opportunities to turn Andre face again, which was what Andre wanted, and would have made him happy, because apparently towards the end of his run in WWE, when he was still a heel, it was very upsetting for him.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, he was from all accounts, and like what you see, like truly I've never heard anyone have like a bad word about Andre. Like, I don't think I
Bad News Brown. Bad News
Brown. Wait, never mind. No, I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Some things. But he was also like, well, we swashed that real fucking quick.
Yeah, really quick, because I told him to get out of that bus and he didn't want to.
Well, I think the thing too, I saw Alan say he was like, Andre may have whooped my ass.
Oh, really?
But he was like, he was going to pay for it. Like, I was going to hurt him in the process. And he knew that.
Because I'm a legitimate judoku.
Yeah, I think the whole thing I think he said the thing I watched, he said something to the effect of like, you're gonna fucking get out of this bus and we can do this right here. Mm-hmm. I think they might have even been in Japan. And
they were somewhere overseas. It's either Europe or Japan, yeah.
And he called them out, and all the boys in the bus were like, oh shit. And Andre was like, no, I don't need to prove anything to you. And he's like, well, then you need to apologize. And he's like, my guess is Andre realized that I was not fucking around. And that he's like, and Andre was a big, strong guy, and this was a time when this was a time when he wasn't completely in his decline. He's like, so he may have hurt me. He's like, he may even have beat my ass just because it's hard to throw a guy around who's that big. He's like, but I was gonna take years off his career.
Oh, I believe that would have happened. Legitimate. Like Bad News brooked no shit and would have made him pay big time.
But also,
I'm just glad that didn't happen.
Yeah. Also, don't be racist.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, his thing was, he was like, the thing I watched with Alan, he said, you know, that he never had problems with Andre after that ever.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
He's like, I just think it was he's like, I honestly think some of it was just cultural, you know.
There is, yeah.
But he was like, he's like, I'm not gonna fucking tolerate that. I don't give a shit who you are.
Oh yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely. I mean, you can even see like a lot of that today. Like, just look at like the way Japan itself does some things. There's some you watch some anime and it's just like, wow, what is this? But they just don't have that understanding for whatever reason it is. And I think especially at the time, you know, when some Frenchmen and stuff like that, he's probably not going to have the most exposure to, other cultures that aren't just like, small little insular European things. So I could see where, he thinks he could say some shit like that and it'll fly and he could just like let it slide. But
also, I also think he was like, it's the boys and the boss saying shit. And
exactly.
When to be an African-American man in pro wrestling, you were not just a minority, you were a mega minority.
Oh, And you'd be lucky not to be turned into Samba Simba.
Oh, I remember Samba Simba.
Unfortunately, a few of us still do, yes.
I always thought that was a great name and a great look.
Yeah, but the way they did it was not good.
I think, though, that's...
Well, especially when you look at like, the guy who gave the name.
Yeah. Well, I here's the thing, too. Like, I'll say about... I find it fascinating that in American wrestling, the other, regardless of where they're from, as long as they're, generally speaking, not a white guy, they're going to get othered because it's wrestling appeals very hardcore to white America, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
White working class America. But you even look at like Canadians being othered.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
You look at, rich people being othered. It's, there's a reason like things like the $1 Million Man worked so well.
But even then, I'd say he was othered, but also like from a point of having like power and he might be the evil dastardly guy, but he can kind of in the Snidely Whiplash kind of character of it all, but he still gets what he wants.
Well, not always. I mean, look at it this way: did Ted DiBiase ever win the world title? He bought it once.
Yeah,
but he never won it. I mean, I think that there is wrestling does a weird thing with that. That's interesting. That's why I also look at like a real racist piece of shit like Bill Watts. But you look at every territory Bill Watts booked, who was the world champion? A black guy.
Yeah.
WCW first black heavyweight champion was when Bill Watts was booking.
Yep.
And I find that interesting.
A complete badass champion.
Yeah, a guy who didn't just win the belt, he won it from a guy who at the time was a legitimate fucking nightmare fest, and beat him in convincing fashion, and then had a couple really decent little defense things that went on before management at WCW changed yet again, and they were like, well, we're gonna go back to Rick.
Rick, where are you?
But we're not going to Rick take the belt off of you because we don't feel like that would make Rick look good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember how they got the belt off of Braun.
I can't remember.
I mean,
I do remember when he won it, though. That was
yeah,
quite a good moment.
Not only that, but it was like he was the perfect opponent for Big Old Leon.
Yes.
Because he was a guy who not only looked like he could throw around a 370-pound fucking behemoth, but like legitimately could.
Yeah.
And he was so legit that there's a reason why he's unfuckable with.
Yeah. Yeah. I just love that Ronnie.
To me, it was always a shame we never got a Farouk world title run in the WWF.
Yeah.
Because for all the tropiness, the racist trope of the Nation is one of my top 5 favorite.
Nation was great. Like that was a powerhouse, like
stables of all time. And it was because, in another time, their message, even like 3 years, I think later, would have been like they would have been the biggest fucking baby faces.
Oh, legitimately. It would have been not even, I was just going to say, it would have been like when the Heart Foundation was in Canada and like everyone's like, you guys are the face. And when they're here, they're like, I think they just would,
Also, there's a
it
lot
landed in such a way.
There's a lot of proto Steve Stone Cold in Farouk.
Oh, well, yeah. I think, you're right on the money with that estimation for sure.
So I'm not sure why they never pulled the trigger on that. I don't know if it's because Farouk was at that point getting hurt a little bit more because they were putting him in the ring with like Ahmed Johnson.
Oh God.
Ahmed, who was like, I want to do high flying shit, even though I'm like a 300-pound muscle man. And can't stay healthy because they were legitimately Ahmed was going to get the world title at one.
Yep, they were high on him for reasons I don't understand.
He had a great look, and he
for a while, a little bit, and then
he got over really quick. I mean, ridiculous.
Was he?
He got wildly over. I've gone back and watched that era of Raw back when I had the network, and because I always found it was not an era of Raw I watched when it was live.
Yeah,
Ahmed was wildly over, but he also got shit like Shawn Michaels was given him the rub, and which is why again I think when especially at that point if Shawn's giving you the rub, and I don't know if it's because he was high as fuck during this period. Or if he was in the back fucking somebody's wife or what it was.
Yeah.
But he legitimately was, putting Ahmed over. They were teaming together off and on.
Oh,
and,
what?
Yeah,
they did go back and watch that.
They did some team ups during this time period. They tagged together a little bit. But, Ahmed could hang with big boys.
Mm-hmm.
His finisher, which I will not refer to it by the name he does because it's a fucking tiger driver.
What did he call it?
Pearl River Plunge.
That's dumb.
I mean, I get it. It's from where he's from. I like that. But again, one of my biggest problems, especially with old school WWE, is the whole attitude of like, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist unless it exists here.
Yeah.
I think current WWE has done such a better job with that it makes it a much better product. And then it also makes it feel like for fans who are fans of other organizations, or maybe are a fan of a certain wrestler who come to WWE because they're a wrestler, because the person they love came to WWE, it makes it feel far more, I don't think inclusive is the right word, but I think you know what I mean.
Yeah.
When they recognize like, oh, this guy, everyone should know him. He's a big deal. He came from, New Japan, and he, is a former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, and it makes it feel like, oh God, they got like the best people left their home country to come here because they were like, oh, well, only the best people come here.
Yeah.
I think it helps their product
Oh yes,
when they
absolutely.
acknowledge the past like that or other organizations. I don't know when that exactly started. I know for me, one of the best times I remember of it before it became like the standard was Punk doing the pipe bomb and saying, well, maybe I'll doing the whole, hey, Colt Cabana, how you doing?
Yeah.
And also the well, if I win the belt, maybe I'll take it back, take it back to Ring of Honor, or maybe I'll take it to New Japan, and being like, oh shit, this guy just name dropped rival promotions on TV, and the world didn't burn down.
Yeah.
So
also, I just want to give a shout out right now to Triple H. Good job on bringing TNA into the mix. That's pretty awesome, actually.
do you think that was a byproduct of AEW?
Oh,
That when TNA and AEW's working relationship stopped working, that they were in TNA. To me, the one thing, not the one thing, but one thing that TNA does extremely well is they are very open to working with other organizations.
Oh, for sure. I love that about them.
I think they realize, like, we're really never going to get over by ourselves.
Yeah, and not to like, that's nothing against the quality of what they can put on, because I think TNA, they are like the little engine just chugging up the mountain, and God bless them for that.
They've done it longer than anyone else, and I think they've had the most consistent women's division, for a super long time, and that in doing that, they've forced other organizations to raise their bar. And there's a reason that their talent is constantly poached by WWE and AEW. It's because of who they have.
Well, and also
develop them.
Why, like you got people like, where are you going to go? You got these options ahead of you. You could go like Nick Nemeth. I'm not going to go to AEW. I'm going to go to TNA. Kazarian. I'm leaving AEW so I can go back to TNA.
I think with Frankie, it was a matter of like when SCU sort of fell apart, he was like,
"Well, that was a shame."
Yeah, I don't know whatever happened with that. To be honest with you, I've never heard.
Tony got tired with his toys.
Yeah, Tony. But I think
this is broken, Dad.
Yeah,
throw it in the pile.
I need to get rid of this because I need more television time for Chris Jericho.
He's the learning tree, and he's a wizard. And
but anyway,
getting off on a rant. Sorry.
I think he realized, like, well, I'm never in this company ever. I was brought in as part of an act, and at best, or at worst, part of a tag team. At best, a part of a trio.
Yeah, I liked SCU. I will say that.
I think those guys were perfect together. It was a bunch of guys who were California guys who had worked together on the indies for a long time. They were good friends. Mm-hmm. They had a great gimmick. But again, I mean, I think we've seen this now that really AEW is dependent upon, for whatever reason, making sure that that EVP group was always in holding belts.
Yep.
I mean, I thought it was good that the private party finally took the titles off the Bucks. Like, was it this week or last week?
For real?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But to me, that's like, you're about 8 months too late on that.
I'd say some years too late on that, actually.
I mean, it's great that you finally put the belts on them because they were over as fuck. But it's too long now. Like,
yeah.
I don't like when they do the whole, like, well, this team has been getting their ass beat all these times with this, and now all of a sudden they're like, win the belt. I always feel like that, just for me, it rings hollow. I like, if you're going to do that, you got to build them up a little bit. They got to win some big matches. They got to. I think just ran out of people for the Bucks to beat. You know, because they booked them so strong. Even as cheaty heels, They booked themselves into a bad spot.
Yeah.
And also the fact they weren't wrestling that often.
No. Yeah, they put them on the shelf for a good just too long.
I think that there should have been a best friends run with the belts. I think that was always one of the things that upset me most.
Yeah. That was I was so stoked to see those guys. And like, all right, like this is the time. Here we go. Let's pull the trigger on this, please. And nope.
Top Flight as well. And I'm sure they'll get their opportunity because they're young down the road. But, there again, I think you missed an opportunity to make someone in one night. They get like 3 wins. They get their shot at the belt. They don't win it the first time. They get 3 more wins. They come back, and the second time they win the belt.
Yeah.
I think there's some easy booking things that could have been done, and maybe it'll turn it around. But
I hope so. For as much crap as I talk about AEW, I would genuinely like to see that company succeed better, get some better booking going, and really build the younger talent that they have, because they have some phenomenal younger talent that needs to be nurtured and given the opportunity to shine, not fucking old man Jericho constantly.
I don't get their fascination with Chris Jericho.
I don't either. That guy might have been amazing at reinventing his gimmick like back in the day. Now it's like it's basically Steve Buscemi in 30 Rock being like, hey kids, hey fellow kids. It's the cringiest shit ever.
Well, I don't think it helps that
he's a piece of shit.
Well, yeah, that too. I don't think it helps though that he has routinely shown that if you get into one of these feuds with him, you don't come out better.
Oh God, no.
Can you think of any one person who's come out better? I can think of one.
Who?
Orange Cassidy.
I would argue he didn't.
See, I feel like that Orange Cassidy feud is the one time we've seen so far where Orange was like, they took him out of like the pure comedy role and pushed him into a different role.
But I feel like he slid back into it though.
Oh, I don't think so. Now they've got him as like, you're the only guy who's beaten every member of the BCC. And
you mean whatever they just turned into, some weird like white supremacist like group?
I don't know if that's what they are, but
yeah, I think they're taking like they're inspired by like Romper Stomper, the like neo-Nazi Australian movie starring Russell Crowe.
Well, I will say about this, God, I hope it's not something that's a riff on reality, but you do know, like in Chikara, when there was the BDK, they were very Nazi coded. They were very like European.
Which is, I like Claudio as a face.
I think Claudio's great as anything. Yeah. I don't like the fact that he's now been relegated once again to the muscle.
Henchman. Yeah. That guy's a fucking star. He really is. And what a sweet, sweet, sweet human being he is as well. So like, come on.
Did you watch any Dynamite this week where they were where they pulled a move I've never seen them do in wrestling before that I absolutely was like, this is kind of fucking genius.
What was it?
They wanted Cassidy to come out, and so Moxley had Pac and me. What is his name? Whatever Shafir's first name is, I can't think of her name now.
Marina
Shafir, Mrs. Roddy.
Mrs. Roddy, if you will. If you're nasty.
They had them grab Wheeler and hold him down, and then Claudio put the chair around his neck.
Oh.
And he was like, hey, Orange.
Not a plastic bag?
No, I know that you two don't get along anymore, but this was your boy at one point, and if you don't come out, I'm going to break his fucking neck. And Wheeler's like, what in the fuck are you doing? And Orange came out, and they beat the shit out of him, Yuta included. But I do think that at some point we're going to see Yuta turn face and he is going to be so over. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, there's some good booking happening with him. I'll say that.
Did you watch he and Nigel's interview
No.
where he tells Nigel, "What's wrong, Joker? Are you upset we killed the Batman before you?" And he was like, "Hey, I never wanted to see Brian's career end. I just wanted to prove I was the better fucking wrestler. What you guys did is unacceptable."
Yeah.
And he calls Yuta a little prick.
Ooh.
So I'm actually kind of hoping we get Nigel and Yuta at some point.
I'm excited that's cool that Nigel's wrestling again. That's phenomenal.
He looked pretty good. I mean, he
Yeah.
can't do all the shit he used to be able to do.
Yeah.
And he's not as thick as he used to be.
Oh, no.
But he's in great shape. That match with Bryan Danielson was superb. In my humble opinion, it was like Nigel, 10 years, 15 years away from the ring, like coming out and being like, I'm going to give you every fucking thing I got.
Yeah.
And realizing very early in the match, like, oh shit, this is not the guy I used to wrestle. This guy has turned into something else, and I am not.
He's a different beast.
Yeah, I am not prepared for this. Like, no one is prepared for this. And that Brian worked a very, very dismissive, almost to me a classic Japanese match against a young boy almost.
Yes, yeah,
where it was super dispassionate, just mugging in some ways of yeah, buddy, someday you might get to where I am.
But, I'm not even going to give you my best right now, even though it was, I
felt too, it's if you go look at those jumbo matches.
Oh,
with any of the super power generation guys before they became guys, when they were still just super young boys. Him giving them a little bit and then just destroying them with an elbow strike or a knee or whatever, and it's almost this I let you do your little thing, but daddy's home now.
It's very okay, you're almost playing with a little kid, and then it's just okay, now here's what the reality is. Boom.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Beat a little kid.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that time in All Japan and of Jumbo, being once he realizes that he's vulnerable because of the loss to Misawa, the first loss, that it was in a tag team match, I believe, and him going, okay, well, maybe I need to treat all of you youngsters with a more of a harsher attitude, and forming Saruto-gun and just brutalizing them for a year and a half. I've always been a fan of that, and I think that New Japan does a good job of that too with their dojo kids, where they'll come out and be in these matches and they only get to wear black trunks, no frills, and they are only allowed to use very basic moves, and they put them in there with older guys and they just get mobbed. But it's part of building yourself up. I mean, I think I read something at one point that Kenta Kobashi lost his first 100+ matches in All Japan because Baba was oh, no, you're not going to be, Misawa is going to be our star. He's the ace. I just see him as an ace. You are going to be the heart of the people. You're the common man, baby.
You're the common man.
And the common man has to gain sympathy, and that's why they were such different wrestlers, because they were literally created to be, two different parts. Of the machine, and I have always very much loved that dynamic of we're going to have this strange continuity that fans will remember because they'll be like, oh, I remember when he was nobody, and then I was there when he won this match, and oh my God, and now he's this guy. And I watched a thing where Kobashi was like, oh, that's why I have turned out to be who I am to the Japanese fans, is because of how when I started, how All Japan decided to handle me.
Yeah.
Which is, it's why All Japan was so fucking good for so long.
Yeah, yeah.
But
the way they tell like their tales just through the physicality of the matches is.
Well, I think King's Road style is such a thing that it's hard to grasp at first, in my opinion. But I feel like once you get your handle on it, oh, this is what they're trying to do here.
Yeah.
Then you're like, oh shit, this is really fucking interesting.
Yeah.
It definitively is a different style of storytelling than,
anything we kind of do in the West. Yeah.
Or I think than most. I mean, it's way different than strong style. Strong.
Yeah.
King's Road to me is very much like it's about the struggle. It's about, getting to where you're building up to your ultimate form, through pain and struggle and failure. It's about, and also I think it's strong style. I think to me is about like who can hurt someone else. It is very much a MMA style, proto MMA style product. It's we want this to look realistic, and we want our guys to be fighters.
Yeah.
I remember listening to a thing about Baba and Inoki, and Baba telling Inoki like, hey dipshit, we're pro wrestlers, not fighters. So just because you could kick my ass, well, that's debatable, doesn't mean that's best for business. Because what happens if you hurt me?
Yeah.
Then who are you going to draw money with?
Didn't he put like a bunch of his wrestlers into like shoot fights?
Yeah.
And they just got their asses handed to them?
Yeah. That's where Shinsuke got hurt bad in a shoot fight. That's why he had to take some time off early in his career when he was just getting ready to get a push. That's called Inokiism. There was
yes.
Of Inokiism, where Inoki was like, oh, we're going to show we've got real fighters here.
We've got real spirit.
And they were getting fucking punked because, as people pointed out, you have a very good class of pro wrestlers, but they're not fucking fighters.
Yeah. And then like putting like, I think, didn't he also at points like book like MMA dudes to be in like wrestling things, and then like they were just too clumsy for it as well. Like,
yep.
It was just like, what are you doing?
I think the thing with Inoki is like 10 years before that, they had the UWF and UWFI, sub promotion. Like it basically was an invasion angle. You can kind of look at it as what one of the things Bischoff stole for NWO.
Wait, Bischoff stole from Japan?
I did not steal from Japan. What I did was I took a concept that the Japanese used once, and I just made it far more lucrative. And you have to understand, I figured out that Eric Bischoff is literally the wrestling equivalent of Ben Shapiro.
That's the harshest thing I've ever heard said about.
I think he is. I think he is.
You're gonna make him cry if he hears this.
I watched a video of a Majority Report of them talking about Ben Shapiro being on that show Jubilee.
What?
So have you ever seen the channel Jubilee?
No, I don't think I have.
So they have a show where they take one person and you sit in the middle of a room of like 20 people.
Uh-huh.
And they all get a chance to come up for a period of time and debate you.
Oh, this must have hurt
and
his little ego.
he got fucking crushed by like 5 people. One guy didn't even debate him. He literally just talked over him. It was a female to male trans man. And
Oh, I've heard about this actually.
yeah,
I haven't seen the
he
clip.
fucking destroys him. And it is goddamn, it's sugar for my soul. It like feeds me. Because every time Shapiro got ready to talk, he just talked right through him. Like, he kept saying,
Good.
you think you can come on something like this and talk down to people and speak in what you're saying are facts when they're just not backed up with numbers, and you just want to talk so fast because you have nothing to say.
Yeah.
You just talk fast because you literally want to barrage people so they think you're saying something of importance, but the reality is you have nothing to say.
Yep.
And it's like, oh shit, you're not wrong. Let me take a swig of my cold coffee to that shit.
Good job. Like,
There was a guy before that who debated him and just destroyed him. Like even Sam Cedar, who is a pretty goddamn good debater. I mean, he's the kryptonite of the right, basically, in a lot of ways. Was like, oh, this guy, I don't know where he comes from, because I believe these were all students, because of course right wingers only debate students.
yep, they love to do that.
He was like, I don't know if this guy's in a debate club or whatever. If he is, he should be lauded. If he's not, they should get him on a fucking debate club immediately, because he fucking destroyed Ben Shapiro.
Beautiful.
And it was so good. I mean, he destroyed him in the way that Shapiro would destroy a college student. Where it was like, at one point he said, you're using all these quotes, but in this format, you do know that we can't fact check you. And the reality is you have a history of using information that you've either skewed or that is so old that the numbers you're using don't apply to current day. And you watch Shapiro get fucking so red-faced. He was so mad. And he was like, well, he started to talk, goes, no, you I want you to refute that.
Yeah.
Have you not done that? And he had no answer for that, of course, because he does do that.
Yep. That's like that's the modern right's only way to, like,
it's the playbook.
Yeah. They're just shitheads. Yeah.
But anyway, I would highly recommend watching it. I know Sam was like, I didn't know what this was. I know they had reached out to us at one point, asked if I would be interested, and now I'm super interested. He's like, I was like before, like, I don't know what the fuck this is. He's like, now I'm like, I would totally come on this.
Yeah, I would love to see
he's
that.
like, I think this would be a blast to do. Also, he went on Tim Pool on Friday. I have not heard how it went.
Oh.
One of his mini nemesis.
Yeah.
Tim Pool, a guy who he kind of gave his start to. Apparently he was like, reached out and he was like, I've heard you've had a lot of problems with what I've been saying. And Sam's reaction on air was like, dude, we've been talking about you nonstop for like 2 years because you're such an idiot. Your dad calls into our show. So, I mean, like, who I am. Let's not pretend that you don't.
Yeah.
You talked a bunch of shit on me, and so, let's be honest here. Will I come onto your show? Yeah, sure, why not? He's like, I'll go on any show. He's like, I will have the conversation. It's not going to go
well for you.
Yeah, I will have the conversation, the debate with anyone. The reality is no one wants to have that with me anymore.
Yeah.
Because, I do my research. It was like I watched, did you see the Mehdi Hassan thing? Not the one where the guy told him, I hope your beeper doesn't go off, which was one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard in my life. The guy instantly got thrown off CNN.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, I did see that.
The same fucking day, Mehdi was on another panel with Piers Morgan where he was debating Sarah Palin.
What?
Yeah. And it's as bad as you think it is.
Oh, God, I can only
imagine. At one point, he starts saying things like, she calls him a liar.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, well, if I'm a liar If that's the what she called him an obnoxious liar. And he goes, well, if that's how we want to do this, how what about your racism, your rampant racism? And she was like, what? And he just starts rattling off things that she said in the past, and she's like, I never said that. And they literally were able to go back and show, like, from tweets and newspaper articles and interviews, all these things that she said she never remembered saying and that she would never say. And I was like, oh God, it's so
I would never say that.
Delicious. It's so good. And that's another guy you just don't get into. You don't get into a land war in Asia and you don't try to fucking debate Mehdi Hassan. He will fucking destroy you.
Yeah.
I watched the one he had with I can't think of the guy's name. He used to be involved in the as a part of the Israeli propaganda arm, who was replaced because he was so bad at his job, and they debated on a show that, again, that's just debating, and they were supposed to have this very civil debate, and within like 2 minutes, the Israeli guy had basically called Mehdi a terrorist.
Fun.
So Mehdi then just fucking was like, okay, well, I was going to, we've had uncivil conversations online, but I came to this with the hopes we could have a civil dialogue in front of all these people. But apparently that's not what's going to happen. So prepare to get fucking bombs dropped. You want to drop literal bombs and commit genocide? I'm going to drop fucking metaphorical fucking debate bombs and destroy you in a public forum. The guy who was moderating repetitively had to go, we're not doing this. If you guys continue to do this, I'm going to cut your mics. He's like, this is not in the spirit of what we had you here for.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember that Israeli's name, because he was just the smuggest, worst.
They are like the people who are part of the Israeli propaganda machine are just the shit they will use in it's disgusting. It's truly fucking vile. Like, they will just say the harshest shit, dehumanize anyone, all while always conjuring up the Holocaust and all the people who were brutalized through that, and just twist it to make themselves the victims, even though today they do shit that is so close to fascism and genocide that it's bewildering.
Well, ugh. I mean, my thing is, again, is always going to be, I will always try to go to the
not to get off on a political.
I will always try to go to the right side of history, because it's morally correct. And I will always be against genocide, and they're committing genocide.
They are committing legit, like, they're targeting refugee camps. They're blowing up, like, fucking
kids, sniping kids.
What? That happened? It's vile.
But I think Mehdi is one of the best modern day journalists that we have in the world. And I think that he always brings the fucking heat. He brings the facts, and he is going to, if you try to lie and he can prove it with facts that you're being dishonest, whether information wise or whether in the spirit of the conversation, you're going to get fucking buried.
And deservedly so.
Yeah. He is a take no shit journalist who
we need more of.
Yeah. Who I know people always say, like, well, what about the money you took from Qatar? And he constantly has to say, I did not take money from Qatar. Which I think is also, another deflection argument used by people who are getting destroyed. But I think he's always like in the debate he had with that guy that got brought up, and he said, and the moderator's like, you know what, we're not even going to address that because that's been proven false.
Yeah.
And Mehdi was like, no, I would like to address this. You know when it got brought up? It got brought up in the Q&A. They had a group of journalists that could do a Q&A, and a journalist brought it up, and it turned out to be a journalist who has attacked him in the past.
Yeah.
And he was like, no. I want to address this. He addressed it and then was like, so my question to you, so-and-so, is, did you bring this up on your own, or is it because of these people who gave you money?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I'm not here to answer questions.
Oh,
he
yeah.
was like, well,
obviously.
that's good, but I'm just saying you're lacking integrity in the questions you're asking. So then it also turned into the moderator going, okay, well, we're not doing that either. Can we, God damn it, guys, can we please not do this?
Guys, come on. We've got ad revenue to sell here.
Well, they were live. They were in a huge hall.
Oh, was it like an Oxford?
No, it's like a channel that used to be called something else, and now they've rebranded, and they are trying to kind of make themselves a channel for like intellectual debate, where they're like, our goal is to have people from different sides of argument come in, have civil debates, and have an audience full of people that are willing to listen, and hopefully come away with it at least having their preconceived notions challenged enough to where they're not so hardline into their beliefs, which I admire that.
That's cool.
But I think that style of debate might be dead.
Yeah. We're firmly in the era of the soundbite overall, and
he was saying, I think it was Mehdi or someone that's on Zateo was talking about this is the post-truth. This is the post-truth era.
Yep.
Where news cycle goes so fast, you don't even have to worry any longer about fact check because we're already moving on to the next scandal.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's depressing.
It is.
Very true.
But I think that's very true. Yeah.
All right. So no more politics talk.
Okay. Yes.
Raise money for kids. God damn it.
Look at this beautiful medieval kitchen.
See, for a minute, I thought that was Aunt Beru's kitchen before she got done.
Oh, dude. You're not wrong. Hey, Spike. Yes, you should blame Paul Naschy. You know what? It was that tiny little
God damn it. God damn it. How dare you? How dare both of you?
It was so small. So small. It's very small.
He's so tiny. So tiny.
So tiny.
He's a tiny man.
He's just a little baby coffin. Hey, do you think you could fit Paul Naschy in your pocket?
No. Maybe in my jorts.
In my jorts.
But not in a regular ass pocket.
I'd pick him up and put him in my breast pocket and carry him around town all day. Show him off to my friends. This is Paul. He's my new pet. Paul Naschy's like, this is dehumanizing. I will curse you like the pharaohs of old. Oh, God, I am loving this build. This is turning out to be just fan-friggin-tastic. I'm bloody loving it. Oh! Look at that little water feature right there. Can you see the one here?
Hold on, give me a second. I'm posting about us doing this right now because I just got an alert that somebody else did.
Creature report. Oh, and I don't know if I showed you, but I think this is a little baker / cook. Look how fantastic and happy he is.
He's just a baker. He's just a little baker boy. He's a fabulous baker boy.
Man is built like a Dorito. Oh my God. Spike, that is one of the harshest yet funniest and also very wholesome put downs I've ever heard. That's amazing.
I'm literally putting this in my Facebook post.
Bag number 4 out of 26. We're doing it. We're getting there. Slowly but surely. Don't call me Shirley. Ooh. Yes.
Spike,
Oh,
I
man.
stole your Dorito line. I literally am putting it in the post. Man built
That
like
was
a
a gem.
Dorito.
That was a beautiful line, Spike.
It's all time. It is definitely it's going to be an evergreen line. Also, I don't know if you saw, but I posted in our Star Wars chat. Fucking EC Henry had a new video this week.
Oh.
He made an Imperial version of the Skip Ray blast boat.
Ooh.
Complete with a history of why
Okay.
that vehicle in the Clone Wars would have been adopted by the Empire, but why Sinar would have to completely change its look to match the Imperial style and aesthetic. And then why the Empire, much like a lot of vehicles, they would not have used it because it didn't match the Tarkin doctrine. But how his feeling on it was it would have been used by Imperial customs. On trading lanes to it would basically
I love
be
when Star Wars gets deep like that.
Yeah, I think that he is one of the single best YouTubers for the fact that he doesn't do just critique work.
Yeah.
He actually is like, okay,
let's talk lore.
Here's this ship from Deep Lore, and I think it's a cool looking ship or concept. Here's how it would have fit into continuity, and then also just the ungodly renders and literal scene work they'll do with those ships, and they'll look like ILM shit. They'll look literally like stuff straight out of the first 3 movies, or the series he did where he was just doing background ships. Where he was like, here's a background ship that you see in a fucking freeze frame from this part of Return of the Jedi, and here is deep cut lore I've made for this one ship. I think when I see him do that, I find it to be so inspiring.
Oh hell yeah!
As someone who uses deep lore in their Star Wars game, I will sometimes use EC Henry shit because I just think it's as good as anything that Lucasfilm and now Disney ever has put out. I think it's that robust, and it's that there's that much love and care put into it. That it feels like some shit that some guy pushing up his glasses in the early 80s at ILM would have like, well, this is technically Solborg Gottman's transport, and he won it in a pod race against this guy, and he it's got a leaky converter valve, and that's why it really struggles in tight. And I'm just like, yes, tell me more about this guy and his entire life.
I used to get all those books back in the day. I still do when they put them out, but the vehicle encyclopedias that in the cross sections,
the DK books,
but even before DK did them, and
I have a bunch of those books.
I love those, man.
I bought a bunch of them for us RPGing because there was so much they would get referred to in people's videos, and I would be like, wait a second, there's a whole book I can go get that has all this shit in it. I was like, I need, and you can get those books dirt cheap used
Yeah,
online. I mean, like
I need to go back
$3-4.
and get them again because like I used to have a ton. I don't know what happened to them, but like just those old EU like encyclopedias were just a treasure trove of like you want to get lost for like a week in like knowing the backstory of manufacturers and why this is this and like or hey, do you want to know more about uh what's her face the lady from the I can't remember the actress's name off the top of my head. I'm feeling really dumb about it, but she was the bartender in the Christmas special who sang.
Yeah.
Like here, there's a whole backstory of how she's helping the rebels that you would not been clue to at all. And here we go. Buckle in, baby, because you're gonna get it. I love that shit. I love that shit. I shouldn't even say shit because it's fucking magic. I love that magic.
I feel like
Baby.
there was such a fandom in Star Wars that is built around the fact that it's, you know, they could kind of go off and fill those gaps in.
Mm-hmm.
That I think, you know, other media doesn't really. I think Star Wars was the first kind of media to have that, because I don't think that's something that's inherent in Star Trek.
No,
I don't
not really.
I don't think it's something that you find in comic books. I think it's only in Star Wars where for a long time the fandom is what kept it alive, and it was
God, yeah.
It was the fandom that included like these authors who were doing these EU books,
Yeah.
you know, who were like, oh, you know this thing that is briefly mentioned once in Empire Strikes Back. Well, I wrote a 500-page novel about it.
Uh-huh.
So now you can know all the hidden secrets of this. Oh, you're also obsessed with the Gan Finesman? Well, guess what? Here's a book about the Gan Finesman. You know. And I think it's one of the things why Star Wars will always be so important to me. It's because of things like that. It's like such a creator friendly, like fanfic friendly universe, I guess, as opposed to some of these other places where it's not.
Yeah. Like I love Star Trek. I friggin' love Star Trek, but like from the get-go, there was always this hard line of like, yeah, these books are fun and stuff that you can go out and read, but they hold no weight whatsoever. And there's nothing that's going to affect the overall the show is the Bible, and that is what is. And the rest of this is superfluous to what we're doing here. And then like you get all this beautiful stuff in Star Wars that, you know, until like kind of Disney came around for the most part, everyone was like, oh yeah, no, this is legit part of this, and have fun. This is your playground. All these video games, yeah, it all ties in. It's as Han Solo said, it's true, all of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we get some of my favorite characters.
Oh, for sure.
You know, a character that I don't think gets near enough love, that I think I only love them because of the visual, but the visual is so striking that I just want to know more.
Huh.
Are you familiar with the Crimson Corsair?
Yes, dude. Yes. The Crimson Corsair is fucking awesome.
I love the look of that character so much. And there's only one piece of storytelling about him and his crew.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like a short, like novelette in some book.
Yeah.
But I love that story unapologetically, where they're looking to go raid like one of the many tombs of Count Dooku.
Yes.
And I'm just like, this is so much a mix of like pirate shit, of Raiders of the Lost Ark,
yes,
with Star Wars. It's just so
yeah, and maybe one of the best helmets in all of Star Wars, Crimson Corsair has.
Definitely top 3.
It's so cool. just, I mean, when you see him in Force Awakens, just immediate standout. Like, who the fuck is
To
this guy?
me, his appearance in Force Awakens hit the same like nerve as Boba Fett's first appearance.
Yes. Yep.
Where I'm like, oh, I don't know who this guy is, but I
Mhm.
need to know who this guy
Yeah.
is.
Like, what is this guy's story? Oh, is Finn going to go with him and have the whole adventure we don't know about? Please let
Can
this
we
happen.
can we please let this happen, George?
Mm,
Although at that point George wasn't involved at all. I'm not really doing that right now.
yeah, I don't know.
Your George Lucas is too fucking good, man.
Maybe he'll
You're
go to
too
Jar Jar's planet. Because Jar
No.
Jar's the key.
Jar
He's the
Jar.
key to all of this.
He is the key to all of this.
I think once we lock down Jar Jar, we're gonna have a dynamic character he's gonna be funnier than anything we've ever seen in Star Wars. He's really gonna bring humor into the story in a way we've never had before. What do you mean he's a racist trope? I don't see color.
Oh, did he really say that?
No, no, that's me. That's just
I was going to be like, oh my God, George. No, not you. Not you, George.
No.
I need you to at least remain pure.
No, George he's still a good guy.
I need you to be my little lost guy.
Did you know they based the design of the Ewok off of my body?
Oh my God. It's loosely based on my neck waddle.
The entire character of Watto wasn't based on my neck waddle. That's where we get the name from as well.
Okay, you got to tell me, like, where did your impersonation of George come from? Like, where did you?
God.
Because I do feel like, and I know you.
I think it's from like
time.
watching Red Letter Media and them using to an almost like obnoxious degree just that footage of him, the behind the scenes footage of him at this whiteboard being like, Jar Jar's the key to all of this. And like just hearing him say that constantly, it was like this keystone for me doing that. Yeah.
I wish I loved Red Letter Media as much as I used to.
I still do.
They've just become
I view
grumpy old men.
But I find that endearing because they're not like always like, I feel like too many people are just like yes about stuff, and I find it refreshing that just they're like, really though, about some things. I don't always agree with them, but
no, I'll tell you what it is, and it's sad because I actually enjoy his humor. But Mike is like so fucking contrarian about everything. And I feel like it's infected them a little bit. Like I was watching something recently where Jay was doing that, and I just wanted someone, Rich or someone, to be like, Jay, do you remember when you enjoyed things before you basically turned into Mini Mike, where nothing is good anymore, everything is bad, and you can't enjoy things anymore at all. And it's the thing is too, I just want to be like, okay, is this a bit? Because you guys have kind of turned into such bitter dudes that I can't tell anymore what's a bit and what's not.
Yeah.
Like, do you really not enjoy anything anymore? And if so, like, then why are you doing this? Like, you seem so utterly exhausted by having to continue to do this thing that you all decided to do. It's really the only one who I think still to me is kind of the same as when I started watching is Rich.
He's like evergreen.
Yeah,
for me.
He always has been very brutally honest about stuff, and I don't always agree with Rich's opinion.
No,
but I always feel like Rich's opinion is the least like cantankerous or even just snarky.
Yes.
Like Rich, out of all of them, Rich feels like he's the guy who's the funniest without trying.
Yeah, and he'll also be the first one to be like, well, maybe we're just like, too old for this, and it's not like
It's not for us.
Yeah, maybe we're not the audience for this anymore. While like definitely Mike is like, why did this thing I love change?
Yeah.
Or without recognizing like maybe I've done some changing. But you know what? They like, I don't know. They still have the ability to go and put out a three-piece series on Puppet Master and Demonic Toys.
Yeah.
And I love it. Or, they just did a thing on their top 10 horror movies of the year. And just sitting there with pure, unabashed glee and love supporting all these films, stuff that we've even covered. And they're just giving just amazing shout outs to these filmmakers. And
I think that's where Jay shines.
Yes.
Is when Jay's like talking about horror and
yes, he's got such a they have become such lovers of horror that I am like, yes.
Well, I think it's Jay also has the best takes when it comes to horror.
He does.
Because he's the biggest fan.
Yeah. For sure. And it's and when he talks about horror, he is able to like really get Mike out of his bit of being like the and like he's almost become Mr. Plinkett for real. Like,
yeah, that's my biggest complaint is they've become a parody of themselves.
Yeah. But like you get them talking about the right thing and the enthusiasm comes back in such an infectious way.
Yeah, Mike talking about Star Trek.
Yes. Yeah. Oh God.
Even Star Trek he doesn't like, he's still like, it's fucking Star Trek, bitches.
Yeah. And just to hear just him and Rich just wax on about like their love of something and it's so
I just wish they did more of that. That's the thing I get frustrated with is like when they do that, they are one of the best channels to watch because their joy and their interest is infectious.
Yes.
Best of the Worst has turned into a very hit and miss for me, but man, when it's a hit, it is fucking incredible.
Oh yeah.
When it's a miss, it's like that was an hour of my life I'm never going to get back.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact Best of the Worst, they will watch shit that normally no one should watch.
Yes, that is no, they definitely do.
I don't know if you can even see like, okay, I got to do some more coverage, but
ooh, that's coming along nicely.
I think I'm going to take a orange speed paint around the edge between the red and the yellow.
Okay.
Oh shit, Spike, I'm so sorry. Mini sarcophagus is really good.
Oh yeah, dude.
I went to Egypt and all I got was this tiny sarcophagus also popped into my head there. Also, man is kind of built like a Dorito is a fucking t-shirt I want with Paul Nash.
Wait. Does Crimson Corsair have a clone in his crew?
That I don't know. He doesn't have a clone, yes. Like he was a Frozen clone, right?
Oh, that I've heard what is that dude's name?
Is it Kix? That's
is
what Spike was saying.
Kix, yes. That's a kick-ass story too. Like, wasn't it he like figured out that the fucking order wasn't gonna happen, and like they're like, oh no, let's get this guy.
Also, I will say this about that whole idea is it's very Captain America-esque. But in the non I can whoop everybody's ass way.
Yeah.
It's very like every man out of time rather than like, symbol of a mindset way. Mm-hmm. So I like that too very much.
Would you say I like it very
much? I like it very much. I almost like it as much as boot blacking. I like boot blacking very much. You know what? This does need yellow because I just realized otherwise it's Daredevil's OG suit.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
You really were blind, weren't you? I can't remember when I saw someone say that to him in a comic when they were talking about his old costume.
Oh,
but I liked that. I liked that, and I liked I liked Demolition Man, D-Man,
Oh yeah,
who used basically an old version of Daredevil's costume mixed with kind of Wolverine's costume, and we got the
man,
D-Man costume.
that old school Wolverine costume. When I was a kid, I was just like, ugh. As an adult, I'm like, that was kind of fucking dope.
Which old school one?
The brown and yellow.
Brown and yellow. Yeah, it's a great costume. Just visually, that's a great design for a character.
Yeah. Really, because he's such a powerhouse character. You could put almost nearly anything on Wolverine and make it work, I think. And then just the overall design that he has inherent.
But just think, his first appearance, you know what?
The whiskers?
Yeah. Is in the Hulk. And he is basically playing third fiddle to the Hulk in the Wendigo.
Yep.
And he gets over so well in that comic, and it wasn't like they were pushing him to be the star of that comic. He's just such a good contrast point between these two bruisers.
Yeah.
And he's just this guy who keeps getting up and keeps getting up and keeps getting up.
Yeah.
That he ends up, I think, becoming so interesting because of that dynamic. That he's like this little spark plug guy who's just mean as a fucking backyard, rattlesnake.
Yeah. I don't know. And I know some people are exhausted by Wolverine, but he's just, I don't know. Like,
I think they've done a better job in the last 4 or 5 years of pulling back from him.
Yes.
Because they've created so many characters that are basically clones of Wolverine. Some are actually clones of Wolverine.
Yeah.
But, so many characters that fill a very similar niche in Marvel now that, plus if you don't like Wolverine, you can have the flavor of his clone daughter, or you can have
she's wonderful.
His
Daken.
son.
Oh, God, I love that character.
For a while, you could just, satiate yourself on the fact that Sabretooth was kind of a reluctant hero. You could do all those things.
Are they still doing that wild story where there's Sabretooth going around and killing more Sabretooths?
They did the whole thing for a while where Sabretooth showed up apparently for every year he would show up wherever Wolverine was at, and he would kill someone and they did a whole thing where he killed everybody because it was a whole bunch of Sabretooths.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that ever came out, but I think a bunch of those characters are already alive again, which was weird because it was post Krakoa, so they didn't have access to the ability to just bring characters back.
Yeah.
Which I'll tell you what, that was
Demolition Man, 3 Seashells Spike.
That was a good way, in a very in-story way, that I think worked. That all of a sudden, Jonathan Hickman came up with his whoever he wrote that X-Men Bible with, to basically say, we can kill people, because we can bring them back. The fear isn't in the death part of it. The fear's in, will they decide to bring you back?
Yeah.
The fear is in the religious connotations of a society now that has become completely independent after living years in fear of mankind, and they have no moral compass, so to speak. And that was the thing with Nightcrawler, being well, where do we get, if you're going around telling us we don't have to live by human morals and society, who are we?
Yeah. And Nightcrawler, just with his whole religiosity and stuff like that, what a good character to be that mouthpiece for that.
I feel like the Krakoa era was weird, that it went on both too long and too short. I think it went too short in relation to Hickman being there. But I think it went on too long from some of the concepts by writers who, no offense to anyone, I don't think are as good writers as Hickman, but we also got
Oh.
Kieran Gillian telling amazing stories in that time frame.
Yep.
Also, I'm not a big fan of like the Orcus, the villain organization in that run.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, okay, so this is another we know everything before. We're 3 steps ahead of you, even though we've established that your mutant government should be like 10 steps ahead of everybody.
Yeah.
But yet there's this group of racists who are already ahead of you. Now, I will say, without that, we would not get the amazing Doctor Doom creating his own fucking X-Men, and him like jumping into Xavier's mind through this, because Doom builds his own fucking Cerebro helmet, and basically he's like, "Hey Charles, I'm just gonna let you know you're gonna fuck this up, because you are not a real leader.
No.
You're barely a teacher, and when you do fuck it up, it's going to be spectacular, and you're going to get so many people killed. And you know what? I won't have to be there to tell you I told you so, because you probably won't exist when this is over. But just know, Dr. Doom, A, told you so. B, I'm going to save as many of your people as I possibly can, because while you may think I'm a complete insane person, I'm actually the best person.
Let me prove how better I am than everyone.
Yeah, well, I mean, I love the fact that, have you been keeping up with any of that shit lately?
No, I haven't. Let me give you the gist.
Doom is Sorcerer Supreme now?
Oh, yeah. No, I heard about that. That's fantastic.
In the latest issue of the Avengers, he shows up to the Avengers. He like convinces them to meet him somewhere, and he basically is like, I want to know why you haven't fixed all of this.
Oh, shit.
And they're like, we don't understand what you mean. He's like, I want to know if it's cowardice or incompetence. You've got all this power. You're the most powerful people on Earth as a group.
Yeah.
And yet the world is full of suffering. And repeatedly massive events happen, sometimes because of you. And the entirety of the populace of the planet is constantly at risk because of you. And yet you never just take the world and its leaders in hand and say, we're not doing this anymore. Because for the better of mankind, we're not doing this anymore. You never do that. And I want to know if it's because you're scared or you're just dumb. So he kind of puts them through this big fake battle. And of course they win in the end. Also, he changes their uniforms to his colors with his magic to show them like, this is a future that could be us working together, fixing the world. And at the end, so they finish this big fight, and they're like, he just goes, they're like, the whole thing is, we don't do that type of thing. We don't do this and we don't do that. And then they win the big fight, and he's standing there and he goes, you were right. You were right. And they're like, whoa, Victor Von Doom just said we're right. And he's like, you are cowards.
Oh.
You're just cowards. And he's like, well, you know, I'm telling you now, almost like professional courtesy, I'm going to fix all of this. I'm going to do what you refuse to do. I'm going to save the world.
Hell yeah.
Because that's what he does. That's the big trick in that Blood Hunt story when he becomes Sorcerer Supreme, is him telling Strange, like, I will give you the powers back. You have my word after I save the world. And Stephen Strange being dumb enough to think that that would just be for that time period. Because Doom's mindset is like, no. I don't just need to save the world from vampires. I literally need to save the world from you.
Yeah.
Y'all are irresponsible.
He's such a great character, man. I mean, the way he's evolved from being like, just like, just a villain to like.
And you've seen that they changed Spider-Man for the duration of this story, right?
No, what?
Yeah, so Doom, there's going to be characters.
Is it Miles a vampire now?
Yeah, so this is Peter, though.
Okay.
There's going to be certain characters who are just like, you know what? We've tried all this other shit. It didn't work. Let Doom have his swing at it.
Yeah.
I don't know if Peter becomes that or how this works, but basically Doom turns Spider-Man into his vassal.
Oh.
Because some of these other outworld magic guys decide, well, okay, well, we don't have to honor our treaties because Strange isn't Sorcerer Supreme anymore.
Yeah.
And Doom's like, hey, I need you fuckers to carry my lightweight while I save the world. And one of these people is Spider-Man. So he makes Spider-Man a new suit.
Okay.
Like a magical suit. And they change the name of Amazing Spider-Man for the duration of the story to the Many Deaths of Spider-Man. Because he also gives Spider-Man all these extra lives. Because he has tasked Peter Parker with stopping Cyttorak from a full invasion of the
Wait, what?
Yeah. Cyttorak's like, well, I mean, no Strange, so I'm just going to invade Earth.
Oh, shit.
And this is the guy who gives the Juggernaut his powers.
Yeah.
He decided, like, yeah, I'm going to just, he's like an unstoppable demon. He's like, I'm going to show up. And so the whole thing is Spider-Man, who has his own Doctor Strange cape. The costume is great. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to have to take care of business.
That's great.
I was like, this fucking sounds incredible.
I need to read that. That sounds wild.
Also, I think Doom knows that Spider-Man is Peter Parker.
Oh, for sure he would.
And I think that one of the reasons, and this is just me spitballing, I think that's what I heard. But also one of the reasons he might go to him is because he's like, you're a smart guy.
Uh-huh.
Like you're close to genius. And yet you choose to not do anything with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you choose to like not use your brain the way you should.
Mm-hmm. And
I don't hate you. Like, this is the thing. It's very much in my favorite Pepsi Phil thing where he tells John Tater Salad that he's like, I don't hate you. I actually like you. I just don't like who you are or who you pretend to be. I kind of thinking we might get a little bit of that. And I think that's very interesting dynamic if they choose to go with it. Mm-hmm. Of Doom telling, like, I trust you. Like, you have sacrificed over and over and over again. For what? Just to keep sacrificing? Well, that's a fool's errand. You're smart. You're obviously driven. You're obviously like I am. You're willing to sacrifice everything for the people you care about. So why not just make it count? And I hope that's the route they go, is like Doom almost having a strange kindred spirit with Peter in that way.
Yeah.
Of like him saying, you have no idea all the things I've had to sacrifice for Latveria.
Oh, yes.
That's fucking awesome looking, man. That is incredible. The good piece of business, baby.
Thank you, sir.
I hope they go that route, but I'm not reading those. I just watch other people talking about them. So I can only recommend it through that way. Like, I don't know how many YouTubers you watch when it comes to comic content.
Not the most, to be honest.
So I'm a big fan of Casually Comics.
Okay.
Which I can't recommend enough. Hosted by Sasha. She is fantastic. And she also talks a lot about, well, this did not turn out the way I wanted it to, but I'll just have to dry brush some yellow on top of it. So it's just a happy little accident. She talks a lot about old DC.
Yeah.
Like, she does a lot of videos about like old Superman shit, and she's is an admitted huge fan and in love with what she refers to as hot mess Hal Jordan. Oh, not more hot mess Hal Jordan. I can't possibly take any more of this. She's great, but mainly for DC stuff. And then there's a couple. I'm trying to think who else I watch all the time. I used to watch the channel where they all sat on the couch and talked about comics.
Oh God, yeah.
Sal, but there again, they got to the point where they were like unfucking bearable.
Oh really?
They're just very smug. And I got to a point where I was like, God, I'm listening to you, and it's not that I even disagree with maybe your takes. It's just like
the tone,
but also like there comes a point in critique where I'm like, I try to try to keep this in mind whenever we talk about anything, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
is my dad used to say, those who cannot do teach.
Yeah.
And those that cannot teach critique.
Ooh. I
So,
like that.
So like the idea of like, you can armchair it all the time.
Yeah.
So
it's easy for us to do that.
It's easy. Yeah. At the same time, I just watched a football player over the weekend lose a Dallas Cowboys player lose his mind on a rider after, I don't know if you saw them giving up the Hail Mary touchdown to the Commanders. No, it was the Bears. I'm sorry, not the Cowboys. Yeah, they lost on a Hail Mary. And before
Spike, I like that. You popped that in when we're talking about extra lives with Peter. Good job.
Yes.
Good job.
And he was taunting before the play, last play of the game, and he's one of the people that he was in the secondary that got burned.
Ooh.
And he came out of the locker room, and he and this reporter had it out, and the reporter was like, "I'm just asking questions, man. That's my job."
Yeah.
And he was like, "You can't do what I do. You can't do what I do," and all this, and just, it's like, that's right. You know what? He can't do what you do, and he also doesn't get paid to do what you do. And according to this game, you couldn't do what you do.
Yeah.
And part of your job is to be able to answer for that. And at no point was this guy obnoxious about his questioning. He was like, "Hey, I just want to know what the fuck happened."
Yeah.
You know what? Your fans of your organization kind of want to know how you fucked this up so badly, and why you were taunting them before it happened.
Mm-hmm. And
then it makes you look bad. And I just find like there's a lot of that goes on of like, and I'm sure you saw this as much as we probably did in wrestling. Occasionally we would see people like, "You guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about because you never."
Oh, yeah.
And I would be like, "Yeah, but you know what? I did go to wrestling school and I do understand how wrestling works."
Yeah.
And just because I don't like something doesn't mean it's, I can just tell you that I didn't like it.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me. It's not a personal attack.
For people, especially with wrestling, when they're like, "It's an art," or do it, well, then, art is subjective to the beholder of it. But, well, not really. You get in this ring, and it's just like, okay.
It's the same thing. Like, then I want to tell them like, "Well, do you have opinions on this or that?" Well, yeah. Well, you never did it, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You like football? Yeah. You watch college football? Yeah. Well, guess what, motherfucker? I played college football, so shut the fuck up.
For real.
You can't have it both ways. It's it either is what it is, and this is your shield against criticism, or you need to be like very understanding that, like you were just saying, I think in the most eloquent way possible, that this is, if it's art, it's subjective.
Oh, totally. And that goes with like anything anyone does from that I think is a part of the creative process. And we'll even put like athletics in there because your body is creating what is essentially entertainment for the masses. And entertainment is digestible. Entertainment is open to critique, especially when the things such as form and such come into it. And like when you're doing plays and things like that, like there's a science to it all. So to be able to be like, "Hey, what happened out there?" That's valid. And then to immediately be so dismissive of it and outright surly is just the dumbest shit. And if you're going to put yourself out there, you have to also be open to what people have to say about it. And it might not be what you want to hear, but everyone has the right to say what they think of a certain thing, and it might not even be the right take to have on something, but it can be out there to be said, at least.
Yeah, I'm a big believer.
Welcome to my TED Talk.
I'm a big believer in giving someone just enough rope to hang themselves when it comes to their opinion. Again, that whole opinions are like assholes.
Everyone's
has
got
them.
them. Yeah.
Some are just bigger than others. But I do feel like there's also a time and place to go like, okay, well, you've had your say, and now we're not gonna you don't get to take up all the room, all the oxygen in the room.
Yeah, absolutely, that is there.
But again, if you are the guy who's out here running their fucking mouth during a game, and you get fucking beat on a long ball like that on a goddamn Hail Mary, you know what? The press is going to want to know how the fuck that happened, because that is their goddamn job.
Yeah. It's I'm doing my job, sir. Were you?
Yeah, you should feel like you should be the guy who then steps up and says, you know what? It was a little bit fluky, but flukes happen, and you have to be prepared for flukes, and it sucks. And you know what? It won't happen again. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I can tell you one thing: it will never fucking happen again. I feel like players who do that generally end up being the players who you're like, oh shit, this guy is a guy that a team can rally behind. This is a guy that an organization can rally behind.
Yeah. Well, I'd say it's also not to interrupt, but it's a player who's open to showing that they have growth in them, and usually does have the ability to grow. Yeah,
even in wrestling, when you have someone who can say who can look at fuck you really, who can look at a big chunk of paint just came off, or it makes him mad. Press too hard. When you have someone who can look at a match or a situation and go, I had an opportunity there to do something really special, and we didn't, for whatever the reason is. I'm not always the biggest Dean Ambrose fan, but I am very much a fan of him saying, I really wanted to do these things with Brock, and he was just like, nope.
Yeah. That's depressing to hear that.
So when people, kind of say, talk about my stuff on the Austin podcast and things like that, and then say, well, this is probably why things went so bad with Brock. That idea of him just also saying nope, this is stuff that happened because that's sometimes how the business works.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna, I don't have to justify my attitude about things. I admire that. I don't, like I said, I don't always admire a lot about Jon Moxley, but there's certain things that I do for sure.
Yeah.
And that's one of them. I thought it was very funny.
I like that he took a big bet on himself.
Yeah.
So far it's been pretty good.
I thought that was interesting because I had just watched a thing not too long ago where they asked Punk his top 3 matches, and one of the ones he named was Brock. At that SummerSlam.
Really?
And he said, I thought that was one of my better matches, and I think it's one of Brock's better matches because he trusts me, and because Paul was involved. He let me get in a lot more than I think he let other people get in.
Yeah.
And I looked at it a lot like the Undertaker match from WrestleMania. I already knew I was not going to go over. It didn't matter what my feelings were about it.
Yeah.
So my vibe was like, well, let's steal the fucking show then. And he's like, I'm sorry, but we did.
Yeah.
He's like, anytime I've had that situation, we did. Sometimes I'll watch The Undertaker, and he had mentioned that too, that
yes, yeah.
He was like, people think I have a problem with Punk. I do not.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I loved the fact that he had the moxie for a WrestleMania match to basically say, to me, we should have been the main event, so let's go out there and show them that we are the main event.
Yeah.
He's like, part of me at the time was like, dude, I've been doing this a long time. How dare you kind of talk to me like that? But at the same time, he was like, I was very on board with this idea of you know what? We should have been the fucking main event. That, he brought that out. He's like, he brought that out in me. And that's one reason I do like him is because of the chip on his shoulder and that feeling of like, you don't think I do? Well, I do, and I'm going to show it to you. I'm not going to tell you why. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
So sometimes Mark is a complete shitbag. Like when he's like, I like that you brought the fun back to politics.
Ugh. Please welcome to my show, Donald Trump.
By the way, did you see Mick Foley's response to that?
No. What did Mick say? He
said, yeah, he did bring the fun back to politics for about 3 weeks, and then the reality set in. That guy's not a leader, and he's definitely not a president.
No.
So he was like, we can't afford this again, ever.
Yep.
He's like, I'm so sorry that there's so many people in spheres and people I thought I knew very well who would support this. But the reality is this is not good for our country.
Yeah.
And the reality also is I will take Mick Foley's word on history and politics, a well-educated man over mean Mark Calloway.
You know, I'm really sad when I go backstage and no one's got knives or guns in their bags anymore. No one's drinking. No one's playing cards. They're all just playing video games, sitting there on their phones.
There ain't no wrestler's court anymore where you can
just buy me off with my favorite alcohol.
The good old days are gone.
They ain't never coming back. They ain't never coming back. What would you say, Michelle? I should become a born again Christian and follow Donald Trump. Okay, whatever you say, Michelle. Whatever you say.
Well, you know, he's a good Christian after he cheated on his wife to get Michelle.
Yeah. What a good guy. Ugh, man.
That's the thing too, is like I want to enjoy Glenn Jacobs, but I simply can't.
Yeah. No, Glenn, Mr. Might is right. He can go get fucked. That dude, man. And after like hearing so many good, he's Glenn's one of the nicest guys you could ever meet. He's super.
He awesome. might be, but his politics are shit.
Are atrocious.
Yeah.
And I don't know, when you're like that, when you're out there like stumping for like Vladimir Putin to fucking invade Ukraine, like, get fucked. Get all the way fucked.
Well, it's kind of the whole thing. Are you doing this because you truly believe that? Are you doing that because the people above you are telling you, like, you're going to do this because it's good for your political career? Either way, you're not a mighty man of valor when you do that. Which I love that statement by Republicans. You want to be a mighty man of valor? What? It's like
like being a mighty mouse, but we're men.
Is that like kind of like getting bone spurs for your so you don't go to war?
Yeah.
But anyway, but yeah, I find that strange intersection between wrestling and politics to be disappointing.
Yeah.
Although I will say Steve Austin wrote a thing to Mick, wrote that thing on after Mick Foley posted that saying, "You go get him, Mick."
All right.
At least Steve-O has stopped hitting women and now is all about fighting the good fight.
I really don't believe in CTE, but you know what? I don't even believe in Donald Trump even more.
Has he said that?
That was on the Netflix thing on McMahon. He's like, I'm not a big CTE guy. Don't believe in it. Now, I don't know if that was him saying he doesn't really believe in CTE in general, or if in the context of what they were talking about, that CTE was the cause of Benoit annihilating his family. I'm hoping it's the latter, and that he was just trying to say that I just think the guy went completely bug nuts insane. But if he's really out there being like, I don't think my brain getting knocked around and getting Swiss cheese holes in it is making any difference on anything, I'd kindly ask him to maybe just go do some research on it.
Maybe you should talk to
And by research, I mean don't just Google shit. Maybe go and talk to
Chris Nowinski.
yeah, please, and all the fucking scientists that he's around him and his team that have been doing research on
I
the human brain,
love the fact that
of these athletes.
A guy whose entire character was built around him being shitty because he went to Harvard
Yeah,
ends up being a guy who's like probably done more work for an industry he barely spent any time in overall to prove just how debilitating it can be. I'm like, man, dude, I hope someday people realize everything that you've done.
Yes.
And that you get the credit you deserve for that, because goddamn.
Yeah, it's super frustrating to hear like wrestlers still like kind of slag him off and be like, oh yeah, whatever. But then you do have a few who are like, oh, like Nash, who's like, yeah, when I die, my brain is gonna go to Chris and his team so they can study, you know.
I find Kevin Nash to be very, very like polarizing for me, because he either says shit I'm like, God damn, Kevin.
Yeah.
Kev. Or he says shit where I'm like, God damn it, Kevin.
Kevin, go to your room. But yeah, no, I'm the same way with Nash. Big sexy. There's Harley Race told me only thing real in this business are the money and the miles.
Yeah, which is true.
And by the way, did I tell you I'm going to get over tonight? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Hey, Goldberg, I'm going to beat your streak. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I think the more I look back on that whole thing, the more I go, I don't think he had a good option in that.
No.
I think they had booked themselves into such a bad spot.
Yeah.
That they had to eventually do it. I feel kind of like Nash was the guy who was like, I'll fucking do it. I'll give a shit.
And if I'm right, he did lose it pretty quickly after that.
Yeah.
So it's not like he all of a sudden went on some crazy like championship reign.
Well, didn't he do the finger poke of doom after that?
Oh fuck, I forget about that sometimes.
I think that might have been where that belt went after that, was finger poke of doom. Because I think it was a thing where Hogan did not want to lose again to Billy Boy.
Not like this, brother.
That's not going to work for me, brother. So
Jeff,
that's how they...
Don't lay there on the floor. Get up, Jeff.
Oh, God, I feel so bloated. All this burrito inside me and me inside you.
Oh, man. What a surreal piece of like wrestling television. Hulk Hogan, you bald piece of shit.
Yeah, it's a weird ass business. I will say that.
Yeah, but I love it.
I have rediscovered my affection for wrestling. I don't know if I'll ever love it like I did.
Yeah.
But I find myself watching more wrestling shit again and being like, oh, got it. Like, oh, girl, I missed you.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, like the backstage of it all is so fucking fascinating to me. I don't think I'll ever get tired of that. Like, that is just the inner workings and the drama. It's almost as rich as the product itself.
I think it lends itself to the product. It's because I think a lot of times it seems like you're dealing with people who have developed enormous egos and enormous insecurities, and they're living in a world where they have to be as masculine or at least like almost toxically masculine as possible.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you can't sustain that in real relationships. So I think that also makes it extremely interesting when those things have to kind of cross the streams, and you have situations where you're like, hey brother, I'm not doing that job to you. Why? Because I don't want to lose. Well, it's like, you do realize that this is all scripted, right?
Yeah. This isn't real. Are you aware of that?
I do think there's some guys who have struggled with that so mightily because they come from backgrounds where they come from super competitive backgrounds.
Oh yeah,
Like I think Goldberg's a good example of that. I
Yeah.
think, hard for him to turn shit off because, he was a professional athlete.
yeah,
And, I think football, especially guys struggle with that unless they come in and they're basically taught in a healthy fashion. It's one reason I think the Performance Center has actually been a huge boon for wrestling in general. And I wish there was more that weren't just WWE.
yeah,
Um, teaching guys, because you see some of those guys now who come through there and you're like, oh shit, like this is someone who actually gets it.
yeah,
Who is like all about this idea of like, oh yeah, this is like a team sport.
hmm
And my job on the team is to do this. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it very, very well. I'm going to do it so well that you think I'm, this bastard
uh-huh.
character. So, but I also think we have an entire generation of people now who are so smartened up to the business that they can do a lot of that because they've been able to see all these dark side of the rings and all these stories about guys who couldn't do it.
Yeah,
And also, the fact that we now wrestling is no longer one style. When you've got Gunther as your world
Yes.
heavyweight champion
yes,
in the major promotion worldwide, that's kind of wild when you think about it.
yeah, dude.
And the other prime champion is Cody Rhodes, a guy who left to start
A
an
rival,
entire new
yeah.
company because he literally bet on himself.
Yep, yep,
And I'm sorry, as much as Kenny and the Bucks helped make that happen, Cody's money and connections are what made that happen.
yeah, yeah. That guy was definitely the brains behind that operation until it became, whatever the fuck happened with the other people in the elite. Although, I won't put too much on Omega because he seems like a genuinely good dude.
I was reading a thing yesterday where it was some video game guy that helped work on the AEW video game said he's a headache.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because they put him in charge of something he really did not understand the nuts and bolts of.
yeah. I mean,
That
I like video
he's a
games too,
fan.
but yeah,
He's a big fan, but did not understand like everything they were trying to do, and that's why the product did not turn out the way they wanted.
Well, also when you're like, we're gonna make the next No Mercy, maybe not say that. Like,
Well, if you're going to do that, just buy the rights to the No Mercy engine and just make that.
that would have been the smarter choice.
That's what people would have fucking freaked out about. That they would have loved it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not extremely happy with all of this, but I'm gonna slap the head on here in a second, and I'm gonna want your opinions. Thoughts?
Oh, I'm liking that.
Now the question is, do the curtains match the drapes?
Is the red a little too deep?
Maybe I could dry brush the out with the orange.
Maybe.
I also touched up the yellow on the head, and I think it pops a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go orange, dry brush orange on the outside of the red.
I think that might, yeah, I could do a little bit.
Because I did the speed paint, and it didn't really go the way I wanted it to.
Yeah.
So a little bit of orange around the outside, around the outside, around the outside.
Two trailer park girls around the outside.
Are you in the DC game that I have at noon?
I'm not sure.
You're like me. You're like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
I have no clue. I might be. Let me check real quick.
I don't have that up plugged in, so I'm not going to get out my paint shaker. That's too much work. You, however, you got paintballs in you.
Ooh, it's a paintball. Watch out. It's a paintball.
Oh, this is a very wild.
I am.
You are? Okay.
Fuck. I didn't realize that.
No, that's fine. If you weren't, I was going to talk to you about like a game because it's an hour away.
Holy shit! What do I have to have anything ready for that?
It's a lasers and feelings hack, so there's only 2 things.
Oh, thank God! Because I was about to have a mini panic attack. Like I didn't prepare.
The only thing is you need to be able to tie your characters back to the Justice Society of America because they're training you. Which is kind of become their new thing in continuity is like,
yeah,
they're just, it's the old generation teaching the new generation like how to be a hero. Like I was reading a thing where they were talking about how the Justice Society has literally become a society. And I was like, that's a really interesting like vibe.
You know, excuse me. I hear we live in a society.
I don't believe it. If we live in a society, I want them to prove it.
Prove it. Oh yeah, prove it. Who's the current lineup in Justice Society?
It's huge. Like there are now villains as well who are like reformed villains in it.
Am I seeing Midnighter in that?
I don't think so.
Mr. Terrific?
Yeah, Mr. Terrific. Although there's now a bunch of characters who have dual I don't know how you put it, not citizenship, but who are in the new Justice League and in the JSA.
Okay.
Because like with this new Justice League Unlimited in it thing they're doing, the JLA is now like 40 members.
Holy shit.
And it's going to be like more situational, which I think is an interesting way to do it. That it's like it's they have different members that are going to be like there for certain things. Like the Justice League Dark is now like literally rolled into the JLA.
Oh, wow, okay.
That like the question is like they're like security liaison. I think it's Renee Montoya question as well.
Oh.
And like Booster Gold finally there was a really interesting moment. Booster Gold getting his JLA card.
Okay.
And saying, this was something that I saw in my future was this very card. Not my card, but like this version of the Justice League membership card.
Yeah.
And it ushered in like this great time of heroes in our timeline. And I am just like overwhelmed by the fact that it's Superman, you've come to offer me this.
Uh-huh.
And Superman basically going like, well, I followed you for a long time and I've watched you like actually grow into someone.
Yeah.
You're not the guy that I first met who was like this brash asshole. You've grown into a hero. And then Booster, he decides to make this leap to try to figure out this thing that left in Darkseid's wake, and he finds the alternate version, the alternate DC that they've started, and where Darkseid, it's made of quote unquote Darkseid energy, where basically Darkseid's God. That's where that's absolute DC's universe.
Ooh.
That's why Batman did not grow up with money. and why he is the Batman who lifts. That Bruce Wayne works for the city of Gotham. His dad was killed protecting. He was a teacher protecting his class.
Oh, I like that.
At the zoo, his mom's still alive, and is a community activist. Bruce Wayne works for the city of Gotham. He's a city planner. He's very, very smart, but also tries to hide that he's very, very smart. And he's fucking huge. He's like 6'5", and he's just massive. Alfred is an agent for the British government.
Okay, yeah, I've heard about that.
And he comes over here because of a gang of criminals run by the Black Mask, and apparently they had fucked the British government over, and so he was sent to like do recon on them, and he runs into the Batman, and he immediately figures out who it is, but he also gets his ass handed to him.
Ooh.
Because Batman is very well prepared, steals his shotgun and loads it with tiny batarang bullets, basically like batarang shot, and shoots him in the face with it. And steals his motorcycle.
My God.
And it's written by Scott Snyder, who's like the architect of the whole concept.
I love his work. He's so good.
So yeah, if you like Scott Snyder, you're definitely gonna like it. We get introduced to the Joker at the very end, and the Joker is like a multi-billionaire guy, and he's called the Joker because he never laughs.
Oh, that's a good twist on that. Finally,
yes. Absolute Wonder Woman is the last Amazon. She was raised in hell by Circe.
Ooh.
In fact, the Greek gods got so pissed at the Amazons that they struck the name Amazon from existence.
Oh.
She's not just a big, strong person. She's also a sorceress because she was raised by one. And like, think like, what was that movie? Tangled. There's a little bit like a Tangled vibe where Circe is like, when she first is given Diana as a child, she just leaves her to die, to be eaten by this snake in hell, and Diana instead makes friends with the snake, and because she almost strangles it to death. And Circe's like, "Oh shit, you're interesting, and I'm serving this time out in hell, so like I'm definitely going to be your parental figure." She rides a giant skeletal Pegasus.
Shit.
She has a giant sword. She's got tattoos on her arms. She wears a big like battle helmet and shit. She looks wild. She looks like if Bernard Chang and Frank Frazetta were drawing together.
Ooh.
Where apparently originally she was supposed to have a big battle axe, but they had to turn it into a sword because Absolute Batman's bat symbol on his chest, actually he can take it off and it's a big axe.
Whoa.
And in the first issue, he cuts a guy's hand off.
Whoa. Because
he's like, I made sure to cut your hand off because that way you can probably still make it to a hospital if you leave now. So he's still like, I don't kill, but he's also like, I don't fuck around.
I don't kill, I just maim.
Yeah. Because he's currently like the big villain is Black Mask.
Okay.
And his masked gang are called the Party Animals. They all wear like animal masks.
Ooh.
And Black Mask like sits out in his giant mega yacht in international waters, so he can't be prosecuted. And in the first issue, he kills a bunch of the main gangsters in Gotham. He like has them out on their boat and just murders them. He's like, "Oh, I'm taking over the city," and they're like, "No, you're not." And he's like, "No, I'm afraid you guys didn't bring defense, so I am in fact taking over the fucking city. You're all dead." He wears a really weird mask now too. It's kind of like orbish.
Oh.
I can't remember who's doing the art, but it's really, really good. Also, Batman has little spikes on his cape. Okay. So if you grab him from behind, you're going to get fucking stabbed.
Oh, that's smart.
and he's got it attached so his cape actually is like blades on the end, and he can wield them like little mini swords.
Ooh.
It's a very, very, very like hyper practical bat suit.
Yeah.
And that his Batmobile is like a converted bulldozer, like a converted construction vehicle.
Yeah.
Which also makes me really happy because he's this massive guy. So his Batmobile is like this fucking massive piece of equipment, which also matches the fact that he's worked for the city.
Yeah.
And he has no real Batcave. He just has all these areas that as a city planner, he made sure were no-go areas.
That's, goddamn, that's clever.
So you want to hear something also very interesting that I found fascinating.
Yes.
Most of the villains from his normal rogues galleries are his friends that he went to school with him. So like the first time you see him, he's in a boxing gym training with Killer Croc, who's not a crocodile man. He's just a dude.
Oh.
Who's like, he's talking like, well, how come you don't hang out as much, Bruce? You know, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And there's a picture of him as a kid with these other kids who were there when his dad got killed. And it's Oswald Cobblepot. It's Selena Kyle. So he's known these people his entire life. Like these are his friends. So it makes you go like, what are you going to do? Like, are these people, because none of them are like super villains. The only one they mention who's kind of had some problems with the law is Cobblepot.
Okay.
But also they mentioned that like when Bruce's dad died, he got in trouble with the law. Like he has a history of like a criminal history.
Bruce does?
Yep.
Oh.
That he had a really rough time after his dad was killed and ended up in jail. Like, I don't know if juvenile or what, I don't remember. But that he definitely spent some time on the wrong side of the law as well as incarcerated.
Huh. That's goddamn original.
Yeah. That was the thing that Snyder, who is, like I said, I think he might be the head editor as well of this line, said was like, we wanted to do a Batman, a DC universe that was, I mean, he didn't come out and say it was like our version of the Ultimate Universe, but it's basically kind of what it is.
Yeah.
He's like, I wanted to do something completely different. And they were like, okay, well, you got the green light to do whatever you want. So they've released like one of the next books is going to be absolute about Martian Manhunter.
Okay.
And it's going to be about a cop who bonds with this alien. So it's not like Martian Manhunter pretending to be a cop. It's like literally they're one thing now.
Okay.
So, and it's like a thing I saw, it was like, what does it mean to be human? And what is the law? What does the law really mean? There's a new Green Lantern, and they alluded to the fact that Green Lantern will be an alien body horror book.
Oh.
And the ship they show crashing looks like a big Green Lantern symbol.
Okay.
And it's got all the other characters in it, and it doesn't say whether Hal and Kyle and Guy and all those characters will end up being Green Lanterns, because the Green Lantern we see is just I believe she's an African-American woman.
Okay.
I'm intrigued about the body horror. Like, what does that mean? Like, what are you doing? The Flash book revolves around Wally West. And one of the pictures they showed was Wally having like a weird moment in seeing all these other speedsters. So I'm wondering if this will be a thing where he might have a connection to this through the Speed Force to the regular DC universe.
Ooh.
Because that's the thing. So like in Justice League, Booster, so they fight Darkseid. Darkseid has merged himself with the Spectre because at the end of Absolute Power, the Prime DC universe got cut off from the rest of the multiverse. So in Darkseid is a multiversal constant, meaning there is only one Darkseid in the entire multiverse.
No,
So
only
they
ever going to be one dark side.
so they were saying like, what happens when this guy who is intrinsically tied to the multiverse as a constant all of a sudden can't feel the multiverse?
Oh, okay.
So he kind of goes crazy. And he, like I said, he builds this like ultimate weapon. He kills his own kids.
Oh.
He fights the Spectre and kind of uses this weapon to absorb him.
Uh-huh.
Then he goes to the new Justice League and fights like all of them at one time. And they barely are able to beat him. And he opens a rift and they don't know where. And that's it actually opens into the absolute universe. And they realize the only people who can travel through this rift have to have some type of like hyper time in their system.
Yeah.
And that the only person who has that is Booster. So Booster, now high in his own supply from being allowed into the league, is like, I'll do it. And they're like, well, you can't.
It's time to shine.
Yeah, they're like, you can't get separated from Skeets because Skeets is basically your way home.
Yeah.
So he goes through, and the first thing that happens is he loses Skeets, of course. But the first thing that happens is he looks up at the Daily Planet, and it's got the Omega symbol on it.
Oh.
And that's all we see. And it's like, oh shit, that's fucking cool.
This is sounding amazing.
So Superman is from Krypton.
Okay.
But Krypton has not been destroyed.
Oh.
So he's I don't
like
really
visiting? Like,
yeah, that's the thing. I don't fully understand what Superman's deal is in this absolute universe.
Okay.
And we haven't got a ton of information. He has a cool look. But I don't fully understand like what Superman's deal is. I just know like people are saying the absolute Batman, absolute Wonder Woman are like 10 out of 10 no notes. Like it's really good.
That sounds really, really good.
And they've already said that the next big event they're doing is next year, I think towards the end of the year, and it will be something to do with the absolute and the regular DC universe having an interaction. So what they kind of said is like the regular Prime DC universe is built on Superman energy. It's built on hope. It's built on, it's built on ideals. The absolute universe is built on Darkseid energy. It's built on, it's a universe where Darkseid is God. So all the heroes are basically, the guy was like, used a wrestling term. He said, regular universe, they're working on top. Absolute universe, they're working from the bottom. They have none of their inherent bonuses. They're going to be on the back foot the whole time.
I am looking at pictures of Absolute Batman, and holy shit, is he a fucking tank? Yeah,
that's why they were giving him the nickname the Batman Who Lifts.
Holy, whoa! I love this look.
Yeah, it's a really cool look.
And then, like, oh my god, like taking the symbol off and making it into that looks just wild.
That's the thing.
That's wild.
This thing that Snyder was talking about when they designed it was he was like, because this idea is that he's this guy who built this suit on his own, it's all about, and because he was kind of a street fighting man.
Yeah.
It's this idea that he had to turn everything into a functional
weapon.
Yeah, nothing on him should be superfluous. It should all have a purpose.
Yeah, like even it looks like the ends of his cape.
Yeah,
like dude, fucking damaged.
They're like little blades.
That's sick.
It's a very, very, very interesting take. Have you seen any of the Absolute Wonder Woman art?
I'm gonna look that up right now.
Holy shit, is it good?
Yo. What? Holy shit, that sword's like a
Cloud
like
Stride sword. Yeah, it's a
Holy
Buster
shit.
sword. They wanted to give her an axe, but Batman had already had it written into his stuff and in his costume.
Oh, and she's like thick in all the right ways. I love her like black ass cape. The lasso of truth is glowing red.
It's not the lasso of truth either. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like got a fucking wild ass name too.
Dude, oh my god. Like the red and black costume, that's so sick.
I think the Absolute Superman costume looks amazing as well.
Okay, I need to look that up next.
It's very, very alien, and that's when they said they were like, the Superman will be alien.
Oh, he looks dope.
Look up the Absolute Martian Manhunter thing, that the announcement cover. It looks wild. They're going to release, they released 3 books, then they're going to release 3 more books, and then they've got 3 more books they want to do, but they have not said what they are. The second wave is Absolute Martian Manhunter, Absolute Flash, and Absolute Green Lantern.
Absolute Martian Manhunter is an absolute trip. That is wild.
It doesn't it look very Ditko-esque?
Yes. Yeah.
Like in a great way, in like a, question.
And I love the single eye.
Yeah.
That's, whoa.
I'm very, very interested to see what they do, because I really think they're taking that idea that especially with the reboot of the Ultimates with Hickman at the helm, where they're like, you know what? We don't just want to tell the same shit for a modern audience. Because that was one of my biggest bitches about the Ultimate Universe at the beginning. Was like, okay, so you're just retelling things and saying, look, but it's modern. Look, they have cell phones. The reboot has been like, hey, this is the Maker's world.
Oh my God. Have you seen what the rogues from Absolute Flash look like? They look awesome.
Apparently they're government agents.
Holy shit, they look so sweet.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued. I love the look of Golden Glider and of the Trickster's wild ass giant helmet.
That is, it reminds me of the character Sam, the little guy in Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And I love Captain Cold, looks heroic as fuck.
Yeah, he really does. He looks like Burt Reynolds as Captain Cold.
Yeah. Wow. Oh my gosh. I'm loving this.
I think it's so. I don't know if you're reading the Ultimate stuff right now or not. Or have you been looking at it?
No, I haven't.
So you know who the Maker is, right? The Maker is Reed Richards from.
Oh yes. Okay. Yeah.
So the whole thing is the Maker remade the Ultimate Universe, but basically in his image. So he got rid of all the heroes. They just never made it in there. He just eliminated their ability to become heroes in his timeline. No one ever found Cap. Peter never got bit by a spider. So he took the rest of these characters and he made them his vassals. And they basically they're all villains now. And they kind of each take turns being the big bad, like the Hulk, Moon Knight, all these characters that are kind of have the Rasputin's family. They're like villains, but it's like a giant villain organization that goes, well, if we just came out and said we're the bad guys, everything would go to shit. So rather than doing that, we pretend to be bad guys, and then we just control the world. So the whole thing is the Iron Man in that time in the Maker's world is Anthony Stark, Tony's dad. And Anthony figures out how bad all this is. I don't remember how, but he has a big fight with the Maker. Maker kills him, and Tony becomes Iron Lad.
Oh,
and Tony,
I like that.
And Tony's like, oh, I know what you did. Also, Dr. Doom is Reed Richards from the new Ultimate Universe, and the Maker basically cut out his brain.
Oh,
he fucked him up real bad. And he sees the Marvel Universe and he's like, this is who I should have been. The Maker took everything from me. I don't know if he knows that the Maker is Reed as well. So the Ultimates is Reed and Doom first.
Okay.
They go find Captain America. They find Thor. And then they make a time machine and figure out who all they can recruit. And they build basically these pills that they can give to these people that will basically go, here's all the shit you should have been. And like this pill will give you that. But also it means like you're going to have the biggest fucking target on your head because somehow they banished the Maker for like 2 years.
Uh-huh.
So the whole comic is like, or is it a year or 2 years? I can't remember. So the whole first part of the Ultimates is like, we've only got this much time to fix shit before the Maker shows back up. So we've got to like get on the stick. But see, like not everyone, like some people, like they show like Captain Marvel becoming Captain Marvel and then exploding because she doesn't know how to use her powers. Like, so not everyone is able to use their powers. Also, like Banner's not the Hulk. It's like some Polynesian guy. And he's not like Hulk smash. He's like a very like refined gentleman.
Okay.
So we also go to, I believe that's what it is. I can't, or maybe it was just Banner. Maybe it is Banner. I can't recall. Anyway, he's very refined Hulk. He's like a martial artist as well. But they did Gamma Experience in the Polynesian Islands, and She-Hulk is like the protector of these islands, and she's a Polynesian woman. And everybody on her island is infected with gamma radiation, and they're all deformed. They're all fucked up.
That's
and she's like, I will
wild.
help you if you fix this.
Uh-huh.
Fix this shit. And they're like, we'll try. They go to Peter Parker, who's married to Mary Jane and has 2 kids. They tell him, you should have been this. And he has this big conversation with his wife of like, I should do this. And she's like, you should. So we have middle-aged Spider-Man with kids.
Okay.
Which is fucking awesome. The Green Goblin, I don't know who he is, but he's also a hero. And him and Peter are like partners right now.
Uh-huh.
Which I wonder how that's going to fall apart, but it's really cool that it hasn't yet. And he's like, wears like armor kind of.
Yeah.
I think the thing I've loved so far the most is them going to Janet Van Dyne and Hank Pym, who are exterminators. And basically giving them the thing, and Janet's like, fuck yeah. And Hank going, wait a second. So you're saying in this other place, I did all these horrible things. Mm-hmm. Like I hit Janet, and they're like, and he's like, well, then I don't want this. If that's what I become, I'm out. I do not want this. And basically Janet convinces him to do it. Cap too. And basically saying like, just because this is what happened here does not mean this is what happens here.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is maybe one of the best rehabilitations of a character who got a character assassination done. I was looking into that, and I was listening to a thing with Jim Shooter, and he was explaining like that was not the original story. But because they used the Marvel method of storytelling, the writer drew in that he just fucking popped her. And because they were on deadline, they couldn't fix it. So they had to write around it. And they thought, well, no one will care about this. And he's like, it killed the character. It made him completely untouchable. And it's never gone away. Which is just really kind of fascinating to me. But anyway, yeah, it's there's a new Hawkeye now too. I haven't read much about them, but apparently they're very much a throwback to the OG. It's not Clinton Barton because they show a scene where Clinton Barton has his stuff and he throws it into the garbage, like in that Spider-Man No More cover.
Yeah.
It's like that apparently he might have tried it and said, I don't want this life.
Oh.
So they have like a montage of characters you're familiar with that they try to give them this life, and a bunch of them just go, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very interesting.
That is. I like that.
So Hickman is writing Ultimate Spider-Man.
Okay.
And he's like, I'm giving people what they wanted. Everyone talked about how they wanted a married Spider-Man. You're getting a married Spider-Man. And I am very down for that.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
I loved the like middle-aged dad Peter Parker that we got in the second Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, and that's what we're getting. That's we're getting.
Great.
I think what they did is, and someone pointed this out on some show I watched, and they said, I think this is twofold. I think this is their way of keeping certain creators happy and excited to be there by letting them like take concepts that they love and go crazy with their characters. And they said the other thing, and this he's like, I think this is both DC's Absolute as well as Marvel's Ultimates, is those two companies going, what if we lose copyright?
Oh yeah.
And now we'll have our own new versions of these characters that will be copyrighted.
Yeah.
For however long again.
Isn't it 100 years or so?
Some dumb shit like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's, interesting, even if it is cynical as fuck.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, isn't Batman just like a few years away from entering public domain?
I think it's sooner
next year
than that, maybe. All right, I'm here. I'm going to take a big screen. Oh okay. Shit! Why am I showing you my Spotify?
I have no clue, but it's wonderful.
All right, big screen.
Yeah.
Our thoughts.
Okay, I like the improvements made. The orange getting in there is a little better, or not? It's a lot better. I like that.
It feels rosy. Like in a good way, like a very like warm.
Yeah. Did you maybe go a little bit with that into the face too?
It's there. It's just I feel like the face is super muddled.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I might have to go in with much more straightforward prime color.
Spike's liking it.
I think it looks cohesive with the legs, which I haven't done anything to, and the tail. My only thought is this, and I want your opinions. So I picked up an extra Demo Man, and even though the OG does not have this, I think it would look cool.
Ooh. I do like that. Are you gonna mess with the color?
I don't think I am. I kind of like the gold and then the silver. I might add some gold to the rivets.
Okay.
But I think it overall would add a lot.
I agree. I think that's a nice piece of armor for that character's look.
But I do agree. I think I'm gonna have to go in and do another set of dry
Spike saying, what's your feeling, Spike? Let us know.
Yeah, I'm down. I need to hear all this feedback. I need to find my arms, my Reptiliax arms.
No, does he have armor similar on his arms at all?
The picture I was using?
That or anything that you could add to him that would kind of go with that. Or are you just going to do like those, like the shoulder pieces?
So my thought was maybe to use the Demo Man stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure yet, actually, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I haven't made any more of these, and I've asked Cassandra to, but I'm thinking about maybe using one of my Mythic Legion waist pieces and then giving him a colored tabard.
Yeah.
So he looks a little bit more armored. The problem I have with him is he looks surprisingly thin.
Uh-huh.
And I wanted him to be beefier, but I don't know really how I want to go about doing that yet.
Okay. Spike's saying he likes it, but wonders if maybe the outside strips could be gold with the inlay being silver.
I was going to hit the rivets with gold too. I think that might be a really good idea, Spike, is to go over it with a gold to give it like a little bit more. But let me find these arms really quick and see if that helps. Because I think he has some cool, he at least has arms that meet the same color requirements. Let me get my arms tugged.
Hit up the little boys' room real quick.
All right. Well, before 12, I got to go make another coffee because I'm going to be a struggle boy.
Yeah, definitely here too.
Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Thank you guys both for all the feedback. I feel like that's what gives me the opportunity to make something good is solid feedback. I gotta be careful because I don't want to rub the paint right off before I have a chance to seal it. Also, I'm shockingly impressed how much of a color match we have. It's not right, is it? Nope. Okay, hold on. We're just going to have to dig this out in its fullness. It's a colored arm bag. Which is okay, because I got to put some other arms in here. Not that arm. Maybe that arm? None of these arms. Nope. Mass annihilation. Teenagers from Mars and we don't care. Teenagers from Mars and we don't care. We don't care. That must be the arm. I just couldn't tell. Damn. What we need, we're taking. What we need, we're taking. What we need, we're taking. I'm going to put these boys in here too. Do those come off his wrist? No, those are actually on there. Okay. They're not like as ribbed as I would for her pleasure, as I would want them to be for the arm pieces, but they're still pretty good. The color match is pretty good. They're a little more fleshy, I think, than I thought they were. We don't care. No, we not care. All right, let's see if we can find a wrist piece really quick in another one of the many drawers of the Matt Lind Memorial parts bins. Beep, 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 beep. All right. All right, it's in one of these two. I think it might be in here. Yeah, like arm pieces. I'm trying to find if I have a easy to find Mythic Legions waist piece bin. I probably need to reorganize this whole fucking thing too. Okay. I'm making horrible music for teens. All right. It's all. Well, here's a question. Is this silver armor? Do you think it's better than this like brown Big Buckle Boy armor? So let's test it out and see what your thoughts are. I do feel like putting this on maybe invalidates all the fucking paintwork. I guess. I don't know. Doesn't really though. I mean, if it looks cool, it looks cool. Oh, don't want to. I already fucking fucked up the paintwork. I should have sealed this first. But I can fix the paint, I guess. Okay, I'm not going to put that on there because it's already just chipping off paint that I'm going to have to fix. Damn it. That's frustrating. I don't know why this one's having such a hard time holding a paint application. I guess I can probably just do tiny touch-ups, so I'll be okay. They're just tiny nicks, and it really bugs the shit out of me. Also, as our Dyna Boy, and the thing that I have says he's an evil warrior. Which, whatever, fine. Be that way. So I'm trying to find a good shoulder or arm bracer. I'm almost thinking one of those Sharp Boys from Motu Shredder might be a good fit because they're very silver as well. I haven't decided yet. It's a good conversation. Right now, though, I want to see if I can find a good waist piece. Okay, so my first waist piece would be something like this. I think this would look baller. I'd have to hit the silver with the silver. Let's see what it looks like. Oh shit, it's not gonna work because of the tail. I wonder what if we take the tail off? How will that look? Nothing says he needs a tail. How does that look? Or do you like the tail better? I love this belt piece. I don't know what it's from, but it looks like a snake guy. And even though he's not a snake guy, it has a very reptile feel. We're going to take that off. Put that back over here. I thought... Taily Boy, yeah, I think you're right. As loath as I am to admit it, I think Spike is correct.
Oh, yeah? What's the...
I found a waist piece that I really liked, but I can't put it on and have the tail on. Sorry, I have monopolized the screen. I apologize.
You're good.
Let's put this stuff in.
Cheese balls.
Trying to find a good potential waist thing is hard because I guess I could do this, but I feel like it's too brown. It's from Dungeons and Dragons, the barbarian. I can't remember what her name is. Like, I really like this, but it's so brown. Yeah, but I don't want to do a bunch of Dremel work. My Dremel work's not the best, and I don't want to fuck it up. So I feel like I've already fucked the paint up a couple times. I already have to touch it up, which I'm not a big fan of having to do again and again and again. I need to get the paint decided on and then just fucking seal it. So my idea with like an armor like this would be to, and I'm not going to use this particular tabard, but would be to, I'd probably use like a red tabard, I think, which I have red cloth. We just haven't fiddled with it yet. Which way is right? Okay, that looks right. Would be to, I'm trying to remember how exactly these go. I think it's like this. Would it be like, I'd have to repaint this Mythic Legion's armor. The nice thing is they take paint pretty well, although they're super bendy. Would be to do something like this, and I'm trying to put it on super tight because I don't want to fuck up the paint on the body we just did. And also, I don't want to gild the lily, and I think that's where I need a lot of help from other people. All right, I think this will hold now and not fuck up potentially the paint on the upper body. Because here we could potentially, if I really worked at it, get that tail on. But something like this. What are our thoughts about something like that? Nothing. No one.
I was muted. I enjoy that quite a bit. Also, the Flamin' Hot Dynamitas are definitely Breakfast of Champions.
All right. Well, when's our next Meng?
I'm not sure. I got to work Tuesday night.
Do we need to change the night for that? Do we want to go like 1 week Meng on Thursdays, the other?
Yeah, we might need to do that.
Okay, I'm cool with that. I just want to make sure we can do something that's going to work.
Yeah.
For you, because your schedule is slightly more chaotic than mine.
Yeah.
Mine's going to stay consistent. So
store closings got me definitely.
But you're liking it.
I am. Oh. Check out my.
Oh, that thing I just showed you, we could put the tail on. The thing with the tabard on the back. In front, this piece of Mythic Legion's armor. The tabard would actually go. I'll do it again really quick. I'm going to leave the upper body off because I'm scratching it up, and I don't want to scratch it up any more than I already have. Trying to remember which side is front, which side is back. Oh. I do think you're right. I think the tail is non-negotiable. But let's see if this looks better. And like I said, I'd have to repaint this piece of Mythic Legion's armor. I can get it to actually come down around the waist a little bit better so it stays while I show it off. But it's being really, really persnickety this morning. Oh, man, really fucks that cloth up doing it this way, but it's going to have to do. Because we're just trying to figure out what it looks like. All right, let's see how well this works. Or is it going to be too high? Shit, it might be too high. Can we figure that out? Also, is it just like I said, is it just too much of gilding the lily? So it'd be something like this, and I can't put it all the way down right now because I would need to use the upper body as like the leverage point. So it looks something like this. And like I said, I'd have to repaint this waist piece, but there's like and I'd probably use red as the tabard color. Oh shit, I just bumped it around. So it looks something like that. I don't know if it's the right waist piece, to be honest with you. I think it might be too knightly. I don't think it matches well build-wise with like this kind of beat-up, thrown-together armor.
Yeah. I see your point with that.
Like, I think I need something that looks more makeshift. Or nothing at all. You know, that also works. You all right, man?
Yeah. No, just having some hot coffee.
Like, I also like this armor, but it definitely isn't going to work. I mean, it's just there's too much going on to get the tail in. But this armor would have been really good too. I'll save that for a different guy. That'll be for a different boy.
A different boy. A good boy.
Let's see if we got anything else in here that'll work.
Oh God, sitting cross-legged all this morning has really fucked me up.
God, I don't know how you're doing that. I'd be dead right now.
Yeah, especially I'm just like sitting on this like I can't talk. Cold hard floor on top of that with only a sleeping bag as my cushion.
Why?
I wanted to be down on a nice big surface to do the Lego.
I'm surprised you didn't grab like a card table or something.
I should have. That's a smart idea. But me not smart this morning?
Me not smart.
Me not smart.
Me, I'm not smart.
Me gnashing too hard.
So hard. I got to go through these heads too at some point.
Yeah.
Because I don't need all of them. I think maybe on a upcoming spoop, or not a spoop, on Meng, I'll go through these. And I will probably let the chat decide what I should keep them and what I shouldn't. And what I shouldn't will probably go to someone in chat.
Thought it was Lego and yoga or something. Yeah, that would. Ooh, that's an idea.
Ooh, Lego yoga does sound pretty fucking sweet.
We're now gonna do.
Shit, I don't think I have anything that would work well for this as a waist piece.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like. How does this strike your fancy? Does it even work? Oh shit, it's not even gonna work. I was thinking like maybe a silver belt, but it's just a trap jaw belt, but I don't think it works. Oh, you know, I do have this little guy. No, it's got a back piece. Oh, I do have this. It doesn't have a back piece. It just is made to snap on. What about this? Because I think it goes better with this. And then I can paint that front symbol with that same gold.
Uh-huh.
That feels like more coherent. And then I'll just put like a red tabard underneath it. So it would tie back together with like the backside of this, the feet, and the chest piece. What are our thoughts on that?
I think you're onto something there.
So I need a silver or a red arm piece. I was going to put this. Oh, with the arm piece. Colin, do you have allergies acting up?
Nah, I'm just. Well, I don't know. I'm feeling a little. I might have like a cold coming on.
You sound like your sinuses are starting to play havoc with you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think my mom picked up something from work and brought it home because she's been sounding pretty rough.
You need some of that hot soup. It's good for what ails you.
I did get a bunch of delicious teas.
Oh.
So I'm gonna fire some of those up before I do my reading session.
Do you have a voice picked out for your reading session?
I'm just gonna try to be as pleasant sounding as I can, and then
can I hear you? Can I hear your pleasant sounding voice?
A Wizard of Earthsea, Chapter 1.
Sexy.
Written by Ursula K. Le Guin. Copyright 19 whatever.
You do have like a super good voice. I hope you know that.
I think I do. I mean, I'm able to put my kids to sleep pretty easily when I read to them, and I use my like soft reading voice.
I think the other thing is like that is definitively not your normal voice.
No, not at all.
So I think that to me is also what makes it far more cool is the fact like it's so far removed from your normal ass voice.
Yeah.
that I'm always like, oh God, I wish I could do that. I just don't do voices that well. I try, and they come off as like trying and somewhat comedic in their badness. But I mean, you actually have like voices.
Well, I give credit to, I used to do a ton of acting in my younger days. And I'm one of those weird people. I'll like sit in front of like the mirror and try on. I still do that shit to this day.
James and I both do this thing where we'll watch something and then just do the voices of it. We both do it all the time. I don't know why. We're like,
it's fun.
If I'm going to try to do a voice, I sometimes will like I for a while just trying to figure out like, should I try to do the voice of the actual Wizard of Oz from the old movie? And then I watched parts of that and I was like, no, this is just a whiny huckster voice, and I don't want to do that. Yeah. So instead, I was like, I'm just going to do more of a fast talking guy voice.
Say that, friend.
Hey there, friend. We don't have much time. The fuzz will be here soon. It's time for us to make a getaway. Gird your loins. It's going to be a rough one.
What's that word? Monorail. Say it again.
Monorail. Say it with me.
Monorail.
So, but like, I tried to do variations on the hillbilly last night, and I felt like I actually did okay with that.
Yeah.
They didn't all sound samey.
I was enjoying it. I think everyone was doing really well.
But also, I definitively stole from your soft hillbilly voice. Because you have a really good hillbilly voice.
I was trying to do, because I think, the common thing is to, I'm going to get, talk like this.
A little gravelly. Put a little weight in it.
Do that thing where I kind of tuck down one side of my mouth. So I'm kind of speaking out to one side like Holly Hunter does.
Yeah. That's Texan. That's not hillbilly.
Yeah.
Where are you from? I'm from Texas.
Oh,
got to talk about a little bit of sharpness. Can you tell?
But not everyone from Texas talks like this.
Nope. Just a real Texans.
Just a real one. Like Mark Calloway.
Oh, God.
God, man, I'm so bummed that he had that motherfucker on his podcast. I don't know. I'm totally in Jim Cornette's camp where he's like, you ruined your fucking legacy, you idiot.
Huh?
Oh. Why? Why, Mark? Why?
Because he saw Hulk Hogan get fucking paid.
Oh, God, yeah.
He was like,
I'm going to body slam Kamala.
Like, I saw how you took care of Terry. Maybe there's a spot in your administration for a dead man.
Is there a spot where I can rest in peace?
I also think there is a legit social divide between, some of it's what he talked about previously. Like they don't get in there and not real men anymore.
Oh yeah, no, he wears all that like Line 9, like quasi right wing, like weirdo bullshit clothing stuff, and has all the hats with like the American flag with the blue line and shit like that on them. It's just
I'm proud to be an undead American, or at least I know I could be raised from the grave.
And it's weird because he's like such a he hates racists. He's very open about that, and then was like supporting one of the most outwardly fucking fascist, white supremacist endorsed like.
So people. I have a theory about that. I have a theory that people are like, who go like, oh, I hate racism, and then support that. They think that because he lies so much and so thoroughly that when he says he's not a racist, it's giving them free license to go, well, I'm not a racist.
Well, I'm not either. I mean, I'm friends with, the Godfather.
Yeah. But I also think people forget that it's not just the racism, it's the classism.
Yes, big time.
It's, I find that money changes people of all colors into one color, and that color is fucking green.
Yeah, dude. I got an aunt that she made it big with real estate, and wow,
What do I do with that on?
we are definitely pieces of shit in her eyes, and she lets us know it.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that makes a huge difference. That I mean, you see it all the time. Look at how many people who like made their like we were talking about. Duke and I were talking about this a little bit last night because he was telling a story about how he served Ice Cube for a series of concerts to the point, and he did it so well. Like his group, his team of people that he supervises for the company he works for, that Ice Cube was so blown away that when he came through the next time, he like wanted to meet all the chefs and everyone involved. Because like, I want to shake their fucking hands because they took care of us. And we were both talking. We're like, oh, God damn it. I loved Ice Cube when I was fucking younger.
Yes.
You know, I love the lynch mob. I love all that shit. And I was like, and now he's a fucking MAGA.
Yep. Oh, God, that's so fucking weird. That's so weird, especially when he just came out like with that Good Cop, Bad Cop song. And he's like, a legit line. Black Lives Matter. Like, it's not chit chatter. Like, you support BLM. But now, just like a year or two later, you're all like, I think Donald Trump can help me. It's just like, fuck off, dude.
I think that's the thing is like people make it, and I think they get into that inner circle of money, and people are like, you know, you can still be anti-establishment to make your money.
Yeah.
But you're still, if you really want to get to the next level of this shit, you're going to have to kiss the ring.
Oh, for sure.
It doesn't matter what color you are, what creed, anything like that. It boils down to your color is now green.
Yeah.
And green is a color where it's all about one thing. It's who's next up on the ladder.
Yeah.
Fucking arm, and now I can't find it. That's frustrating. Well, if you'll run the show for a little bit, I'm going to go make another cafe because we've got 19 minutes, and then we are switching over to our DC Showcase presents. I feel bad. We didn't get everything done, but I'm going to keep working on this guy, and I'm going to do some work on this head like you guys suggested.
Yeah.
With a little more orange. I repainted the chips I took on off the body. I'm going to ask you guys, do you think the body's ready for a seal?
To be honest, God, I feel like
there's another one. Got another chip.
That I don't know.
I mean, reality is I could just seal it and paint over the top of that. So
yeah. But yeah, I don't know if it could be lightened up with a little more orange in there or not, or if that's just I don't know. It's so hard for me to. Because you've got what you want, your idea, and then there's me like, well, maybe, but also like I'm always like that. Like when I used to do minis all the time, I was never truly satisfied with them.
Oh, I'll never be satisfied with anything I do.
Yeah. I have that thing in me where it's always like, oh, maybe this could be touched up, or maybe just add a little flair of this here or there, and oh, what if I went and tried this and. It's just like adding too many spices into the pot, and then it's just like, oh, well, now this isn't a bisque anymore. Now it's just a jambalaya.
So I try really hard when it comes to painting now to just get to a point where I'm like, not like I guess like overwhelmingly happy with something, but I'm just like, I like this. And I have to ask myself the question of, do I like it well enough that I can put it down and be satisfied to look at it and go, that's pretty cool. And certain things I've got, like, I'll use this as a perfect example. We got to a point on this where I was like, I'm done. This looks pretty cool. I'm very happy with this.
Yeah.
With all of it. I got to figure out the boots and cuffs and stuff. Although I kind of like them being very primary colored, but there's times where I hit stuff and I'm just like, this is what I want it to be. So that's kind of where I'm trying to figure out when I look at it is like why I'm asking you guys' opinion, because I'm not completely happy with it, but I'm happy with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and Spike, yeah, I think just a little bit more, like a blending, fading kind of thing. Yeah, just a tiny titch, like really, like
So
I'm talking like
here's my only thing with that.
Bob Ross like levels of like just
Does
a
does the
bit.
blending, is it going to match then if I go too much with this?
Oh, okay, all right, huh?
I don't. That's my thing with the head is like I said, I think you're right. Going back in with some orange to make it a little bit more like blocky colored, which is the Motu style,
Yeah,
rather than like what I did when with the head is there's too much blending.
okay,
I
yeah,
turn it
yeah,
into something that's less Motu and it's more miniature. So I don't want to do that too much
yeah.
because I'm
You're
leaving
totally
the
right,
legs
and that's
alone.
something. Yeah, I didn't have that. I was totally disregarding that. Yeah, the whole Motu style of the thing too.
Yeah,
Is
where it's
that's
very
such a
primary, like blocky,
yep,
4-color.
yeah, yep.
Like I'll be honest, this to me is about as fancy as a Motu paint job gets, and that's a Masterverse belt piece. Or let's even pull out a
Yeah.
Masterverse figure. Like here's how fancy a Masterverse figure gets, and that's
Yeah.
multiple applications past what an Origins figure is. Although I just realized Gwildor's coat actually has working. Or no, they don't work. It looks like he has working pockets. They don't quite work. They're really close to working.
Gwildor.
I mean, also this Cosmic Key makes me very fucking happy.
Fuck yeah, dude.
But like if that is as far as the aesthetic goes on this,
barbecue,
how I don't want to push the aesthetic too far on this other figure and make it like where it gets so far it doesn't match.
Yeah.
Like I almost feel in some ways, oh shit, I lost Colin. I almost worry sometimes that I did that too much here with the skeleton head. Although I also saw not too long ago, it looks like someone made a 3D skeleton head. And I was like, motherfucker, if I just would have waited. I actually really like this head though. I like the look at how this guy turned out a lot. But I also feel like that head is this head too much now? Too many applications. I don't want that to happen like on this other guy where like the head looks way different than the body. The only difference is here is like all the armor pieces. Like I went into black washes on the Shredder armor stuff, so it would match more of the Marvel coat piece here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
it's a tough call.
It's a very tough call. I think because again, Motu is very like. I wonder, I wish I could ask somebody like, do you have a policy or like an artistic framework of like, that there's something called 3-color up in like miniature painting where it's like, it's a color theory where it's like, oh, if you're doing just something for tabletop, and you're not doing like competition stuff, then you should only use 3 colors and then do gradients of those 3 colors. Because then you'll be able to get your paint done faster, and 3 colors is all you really need, especially when you're doing gradients of those colors, which I really think is an interesting concept. I don't think I can do that. I think a lot of it is because I don't use an airbrush, but I am going to go in on the head. I think the body I'm actually kind of happy with. I think it also looks better in person than over the interwebs.
Yeah.
But I concur on the head tremendously. I'm going to have to go in with a dry brush up the frill here from like here up and around. I'm can't even see what I'm doing. From like here up and around and orange that up and then fade it into that. I'm going to leave the nose and the horns red. I might come a little bit in on the bottom here in orange and keep that lower jaw red. I still have to do the teeth too, which I'm just going to do in pure white because it's Motu instead of some type of bone deal. And I think I'm going to do the eyes just in flat black. I think we did the eyes, so they're pretty black. I'll go back in with just black and then maybe a tiny bit of sparkle in them.
Yeah, give them a little glint.
Yeah. That's kind of my plan, I think.
All right.
Let me go get that cafe. Unless you just want to cut the stream off for the last 10 minutes.
Sure, why not? Yeah, I could go use a little stretch myself and stuff, and but first I'll just do a little show off of what I got.
I love
a little armory room. We got
God, you got a lot done.
The
Colin.
kitchen. 5 bags. I was hoping to get more done, but also these bags are fucking big.
They're big. Yeah, you're big boy bags.
And then
start calling you Colin O'Baggins.
Oh, I like that. Little fruit cart stand or food stand. We got some bread on there. I love that orange, that big chunky orange in there.
It's good looking.
We got our keg with our glass. We've got our moo cow or oxen basically with a stack of straw. Nothing to write home about. That's too crazy. Then we got our chef here.
Ooh, I like that hair.
Yeah, I do like that hair too. It's very I don't know. It's devil may care. Got our farmer boy, and then we got our little classic Robin Hood style.
Oh, you froze.
Dude, archer with a lute. Oh, did I?
Yeah, just for a second.
Am I back?
Right. You're back, baby.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Our good time boy is back.
All right. So yeah, decent amount of stuff done, but yeah, definitely I'm gonna work on this some more just because this is actually being a really fun build. And then next time we pick up on Meng, we'll see what I've done.
So our Meng is moving to Thursdays. The opposite Thursdays of Spoop. When do we want to start doing that real quick? Let's figure that out. Do we want to take this next week off and then start the week after? And if we do that, what are we starting with?
I'm not sure. Here, you know what? Let me get a chance to look at what my schedule is going to be looking like, and then we can figure out exactly what days will be best. Because I don't know if I'll have every Thursday off as I need. Well, wait, actually, no. I think I'm going to be having Thursdays off if I remember talking to my boss. Yeah, Thursdays. Yeah. I think I'll have them off actually. So, I'll see when that starts, and we'll figure it out from there. But I think I don't know. I don't know. Do we want to do? I don't know. Maybe Meng. Start off with Meng and then Spoop because I feel like this was such a Spoop heavy month.
No, I'm good with that. Like I said, I'm good with whatever is going to work best for you.
Okay.
My
thank
friend.
you. I appreciate that.
Because it's
I appreciate you.
I am along for the ride on these boys.
Okay.
Oh.
Did you know?
Probably not.
That like there's a Stranger Things Motu crossover?
There is 2 of them, and
that's crazy.
I like both of them. Yeah, and they're both super cool because they're like a flip upside down boy.
Yeah, like that. The one that's like the Demigorgon thing looked fucking rad. I was just like, holy shit, this is
the other one's
Vecna. I saw it
He-Man.
At work the other day.
Yeah, the other one's Vecna and He-Man, and Vecna looks fucking awesome.
Wild. Yeah.
So I'm very excited.
Okay.
I'm not excited about the He-Man and the Skeletor, but I mean they're just good parts.
Yeah, always.
All right. Well, let me.
Yeah.
I got to go get coffee. We're gonna end the stream because we got another stream in 7 minutes. See? Oh, look at this.
Okay.
I got my baby. Man, I'm squeezing down on it. That's what you get when you step around so long. All right. Oh, you only have the Skeletor one. Yeah, I think Matt said the Skeletor one is out in mass right now, and the He-Man one is just starting to come out. But
Yeah, I've seen it in our stock room.
Matt said wait a little while because they're prevalent enough. They're probably going to hit clearance. So they're not cheap. They're like $30, right?
Well, remember I've got 15% off, y'all.
Why don't you let me know what that would cost, and I might send you some Kizash.
For sure,
All right,
for sure.
let's
Yeah,
go
I was
get
thinking I
some
might take a big. Yeah. Let's end this.
All right, cool, man. Love you guys.
Bye-bye.